inside. Bill, good afternoon.
Yeah, Brett, good afternoon to you. I can tell you it feels like this place is a coiled spring right now. We've got about 20,000 people who have crammed into this arena waiting for President Donald Trump to arrive, and you get the sense when he does show up, this place is going to erupt. The pre-program has started. Charlie Kirk is speaking behind me right now. We expect Elon Musk, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, and incoming FBI Director Kash Patel to be speaking as well. We're also told that President Trump is going to sign a series of executive orders here in this arena. Let me step out, give you a quick look. They set up a desk up there. They just put the presidential seal on it. We're told that President Trump is going to sit down at that desk in front of this crowd of 20,000 of his most fervent supporters and start signing executive orders in front of them. You can imagine the crowd is going to go wild when he announces some of those policies. Some of the speakers behind us have just declared that what they describe as an invasion at the southern border is over. Every time Trump has been on the Jumbotron behind us today, this crowd has gone absolutely wild. The biggest round of applause he's gotten all afternoon, the biggest cheers I personally heard, was when Trump was giving his inaugural speech, and he said it will be official U.S. government policy that there are only two genders in America. Out of everything he said, that was the most applause he's gotten. So the parade here is officially scheduled for, I believe, about 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're not sure if they're running on time or not, but this place is packed to capacity, about 20,000 people. They're waiting and they're ready for President Trump to arrive here and to start signing some of these executive orders to get the first hours of his administration fully underway, guys. We'll send it back to you.
Bill Malugin at the Capital One Arena. We'll head back there as the program continues.
Where style and comfort collide with a lust for money, fame, and power. At the Dems Warehouse, you won't get the look you want, you'll get the look you deserve. Get caught up in style that's tailored for a trader. And believe me, folks, you're gonna like the way you're booked.
Jerry, you have outdone yourself with that meme. Oh my goodness, that was amazing. Welcome to the first official news stream of the American Golden Age. We've been live for 6 hours, but this is the first stream started after Trump's inauguration. So here we are. What you're watching right now is the Capital One Arena. You're watching the president's band play. President Trump is in the house. He is at Capital One Arena. He is about to walk out any second now and sign executive order after executive order outlining his America First agenda, muscularly implementing what he ran on. Promises made, promises kept has been the mantra of President Trump. And what we're about to see right now is President Trump come out and do just that. The atmosphere inside the Capital One Arena is intensifying by the second. You can see there the band is playing. People are hyped on. They're on their feet. They are ready to go. We won't miss a second, as we've done all day. We've covered historic moment after historic moment. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, moments away from one of the most consequential speeches ever given by a sitting U.S. president, muscularly implementing what is the America First agenda. There's many rumors that he might pardon the January 6th political prisoners right here on stage in front of a roaring crowd of supporters. What more symbolic could you do than being steps away from the Capitol building at the Capital One Arena, pardoning January 6th political prisoners? We'll see what's in store for tonight. As you saw earlier, there is a desk on stage stacked with executive order after executive order that President Trump will give his John Hancock with his very thick presidential Sharpie pens. So as soon as he does that, we will bring you straight there. We have a shot that just happened moments ago, President Trump arriving to the Capital One Arena, departing from Capitol Hill. It is one of the coolest shots that we've ever seen. It is unbelievable. And to look closely at the license plates for a little Easter egg that is amazing. If we have it ready, let's play it.
In the night, that things were starting to look really different. And he talked about his agenda and how he's seeing an entire nation, he said in that speech, rapidly unifying behind our agenda with dramatic increases from those groups. And it's really important to think about that in this moment as he, as he embarks on a very ambitious agenda that he's laid out for American voters.
I'm thinking about how many years Donald Trump was asked, will you ever run for president? Back in the
you see that the license plate says 45-47.
Oprah Winfrey pressed him, well, Donald, would you ever want to be president? And he said, yeah, I would think about that, maybe in the future. And no one took him seriously in that dream of his. And yet, go back to the 90s when he was taking out full-page ads in I believe it was in the Wall Street Journal, going after Japan and saying, America must be first. We must put ourselves first in all of these economic arrangements. And so what I find so fascinating is that his doctrine has never really changed, right? He has
right there. That's President Trump pulling into the Capitol One arena.
Arrangements to have secure borders, to make sure that our children are educated, to make America great again.
Notice the anti-drone SUVs.
He sensed so many people across the country wanted it to be. And then when he started campaigning, everyone said, "Oh, Donald Trump isn't going to want to spend time in diners."
There you go. President Trump arriving at Capitol One Arena. Let's see what it looks like on the inside again. There you go. That's the president's band right there. You can see the lights going off. People are hyped to see what exactly President Trump has in store for them tonight. It is sure to be a historic night. Earlier, we heard from Elon Musk, Kash Patel, right there on that very stage that President Trump is set to take any moment now. We know JD Vance is also in the building. So as soon as they are ready, they will take the stage, and we will take it live because we won't miss a second of it. There you go. You can see the presidential seal. I think this might be one of the first times President Trump is speaking behind the presidential seal. We've seen him a couple times, but here we will have him behind the presidential seal, speaking in front of a roaring crowd of tens of thousands of people in downtown DC, which is as someone who lives in DC, I can tell you that's not something you see every day, and it's a welcome change that we're going to have for the next 4 years in DC with President Trump bringing his energy and bringing his muscular implementation of the America First agenda. So let's listen in. Let's see if maybe we can hear part of the band or something. We got some chants going on. USA chants. Drop your USA chants in the chat. Let's make sure they can hear it. Bye bye Biden, someone just screamed in the crowd. If I could retweet that gentleman, I would. There we go. The president's band is sounding off. You can see every single camera is turned on in the background. Every reporter is tuned in, eagerly awaiting to see what President Trump will say. We have a special meme as well, as Trump has teased some January 6th pardons. So we have a very special meme that has been sent to us by our friend Steven Voiceover. We're going to play that for you now, and we promise we won't miss a second of any of this. As soon as President Trump takes the stage or anything is happening on stage, we will go directly there. We won't miss a thing. Well, let's play that meme for now because it's amazing.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the U.S. Capitol building. If you've joined us today for the insurrection, please make sure you pick up a promotional leaflet on the way in, stay inside the safety cordons at all times, and if you get lost, speak to one of our Capitol police officers. They'll be sure to point you in the right direction. And be sure to set aside a little time today to join us for some insurrection activities, including our photography tour, our fancy dress competition, and have a go on our climbing wall. But don't forget those safety ropes.
So good.
And I've now receive the results of our fancy dress competition. The winner today is Jacob Chansley. That's Mr. Jacob Chansley. If you could report to your nearest Capitol Police officer, they'll be sure to give you your prize, a guided tour of the building. And all that's left is for me to thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the insurrection. Wherever possible, please try to clean up after yourselves. Don't forget to visit the souvenir shop on the way out. And feel free to join us on the outdoor terrace for Nancy Pelosi's Insurrection Soiree. Grab yourself a light refreshment and enjoy the music of our very own fancy dress competition winner.
Is President Trump pardoning Jacob Chansley today? Is it in the books? We had some fiery speeches today. I believe we have Cash loaded up. Let me know if we do. But Cash was one of the most fiery speeches of the night. He spoke on that same stage at Capital One Arena just seconds ago, talking about ridding DC of the rot that has infested it for so long, and bringing in a muscular administration now under the leadership of President Trump. We have another America First fighter who has been on Capitol Hill as an allied President Trump for a while now, is Byron Donalds. He has been absolutely cooking, and he spoke earlier today, and let me tell you, that was one you did not want to miss. In case you did, we have it loaded for you here. Check it out. This one's amazing. Again, we'll go directly to President Trump once he walks on stage. For now, let's listen to Byron Donalds absolutely cooking earlier today.
Please welcome to the stage Congressman Byron Donalds.
Whether it was Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, or Nevada, we swept them all, and Donald Trump is President of the United States. For years, they said it wasn't going to happen. For years, they said, no, it's going to be the left's way. But it was the American people who looked the craziness of the left in the eye and said, we need common sense. We need real vision. We need a country that is going to be preeminent above all others. And we need the American people to be put first. And all of you in this arena and around this country made sure Donald Trump is the 47th president of the United States. Being here in Washington on January 20th is special for me. This is the day we commemorate the birthday of Dr. King. And as I was sitting in the Capitol Rotunda, as I was watching Donald Trump give the best speech ever at a presidential inauguration, it reminded me to another great speech. And Pastor Sewell in his benediction, I got to have a talking with him because he was phenomenal. But what it said to me is that in our country, there are no perfect men. There are no perfect women. There are people who were used at a point in time in this country to put this country in position to be better than it was before. And so that's why in the Capitol Rotunda, when President Trump talked about that bullet that went through his ear, and that he is here at this time because God has placed him here at this time to make sure that the golden era of America comes through right now. So yes, we are going to make sure that we get your prices under control and we have a great economy. Yes, we're going to get out of stupid wars and dumb conflicts, and we're going to have peace through strength. Yes, our soldiers are going to be focused on their core mission, and that is to kill the enemy and to come home. Yes, we're going to have the largest repatriation force of illegal immigrants in the history of this country, because the only way you come to America is legally, following the law. All of those promises and more, they're going to be kept starting today at that very desk over there. And I got a special message, and this is for states like California and New York and Illinois. If you want to continue to have a dumpster fire form of government, if you want to continue to mislead your people thinking that your radical policies are the way forward, people like myself in the great state of Florida and Tennessee and Texas and the administration of Donald J. Trump, we are going to show you what true governance is. We are going to show you what true leadership is. And we are going to show the people in your states that they don't have to live with Gavin Newsom. They can have a Republican again in the state of California. And the last thing, because I don't want this to be about red states versus blue states. We are Americans. And the thing that will unify us is the success of our nation. When a young kid can grow up in the inner city and make something of himself, that is success. When a mom can dream about her children and they achieve something wonderful in America, that is success. When an immigrant from another country comes through the right way, and they actually build something and they add to what America truly is, that is success. When we unify our efforts and we can disagree, but still keep the most perfect union ever known going, that is success. Those are the common sense ideals of America. That is the leadership that Donald Trump is going to bring. And I don't care if you're in California or Florida, that is going to be the guiding principles of the United States of America. So buckle up, everybody, because we're going to be unified. We're going to get the job done. And I don't know about you, I'm kind of sick of speeches. On Capitol Hill, a few blocks from here, we are going to get the job done, or people will be moved out of the way. God bless you guys. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and their families. God bless you.
There you go. Byron Donalds going in, talking about how California doesn't even have to be Democrat. It might go red next cycle. And you're seeing people absolutely be mad about the decline of California. They're looking for new leadership. By the way, my name is Danny DeArvina. I didn't say that earlier. I am producer for Benny Johnson. Benny is currently taking care of his newborn son, Whitaker Johnson, and his wife. They're in the hospital right now. They're doing great. But of course, with such a historic day, we didn't want to miss a second. So we're bringing you every single moment live. I just wanted to tell you that's why you're seeing me on the feed. This isn't the Captain Phillips type thing where I'm hijacking the feed. Right now, what you're looking at is Capital One Arena again. For those who are just joining, this is the president's band, sort of keeping the crowd lively as President Trump is set to walk in any minute now and sign a slew of executive orders that are sure to reverse the damage that Joe Biden has inflicted upon this country. We have Again, we have a preview from President Trump's own senior advisor, Jason Miller, talking about sort of what we can expect today, which is pretty amazing. Do we have that ready? That is quite a clip to play. Jason Miller talking about the executive orders. Let's go to it.
So there are going to be a number of things, both immediately after he's sworn in and then later on during the day. I think you're also going to see some additional announcements when the president gets to Capital One Arena and then ultimately is back at the White House. But one of the big focuses right away is, of course, going to be on immigration and putting President Trump's border security policies that he had during his first 4 years back into place. And so everything that goes into securing the border, the remain in Mexico, make sure that we stop the catch and release policies that were put in under Joe Biden. So that will be a big component of it. But you're also going to see some very important things that go to the deregulation efforts to make sure we can get our energy production up. Of course, that was one of the first things that caused the spike with regard to inflation, both the decrease in energy production along with the increase in spending under the Joe Biden. So you're going to see the president do that. And also, too, he's going to make good on his campaign promise to get rid of some of the wokeism that unfortunately has infected much of the federal government over the past 4 years and get everything back to a meritocracy, get it back to focused on people doing their jobs, not worried about all the social nonsense, try to depoliticize aspects of the federal government and really start serving and being responsible to the American people.
Here you go. You can hear that crowd roaring. You can see the children, the Trump children, are stepping up. You have Ivanka there, Laura, Eric, Barron towering over everyone. Got Don there, and Barron's grandfather, Victor Noss, right behind him. They're taking their places on the dais. That's a really good sign. President Trump should be walking out any second now. You can see the crowd is on their feet. They are ready to go. The desk right there is stacked with executive orders that President Trump is set to sign any minute now. And we will not miss a second. There you go. Don's waving to the crowd with his red power tie. You got Kai Trump there in the back with Don. What a moment. You got the grandchildren there. Oh, man. The crowd's going nuts. I think they're all chanting Barron. Yeah. They put him on the screen. The crowd's going crazy. Your Emperor of Greenland, ladies and gentlemen, Barron Trump. What you heard there earlier with Jason Miller, Trump's senior advisor, is him talking through what we can expect today. It's all about promises made, promises kept when it comes to this presidential campaign by President Trump. And we can see that in his leadership thus far. He's keeping his promises. Earlier today, he officially appointed all of his promised cabinet appointees. And what we can expect today right now are some executive orders on the border. And potentially some January 6th pardons that he teased last night at his victory rally on this very stage. We'll see what he has in store for us. There you go. Oh, could this be President Trump? So we have some movement. Looks like some more people are taking the stage. See if we can get a closer look. Everyone's on their feet. Again, thank you to everyone for tuning in. We've been live for like 7 hours today, but we're not going to miss a moment. Today is an absolutely historic day, and we're going to bring you every single bit of it. We're not going to miss a second. Is that Elon? I can't really tell. Let's see. because this campaign has defied every odds in the books, why don't we drop those fight emojis in the chat? That's I think that's the spirit that Trump's bringing into the Oval Office this time. He's not skipping a beat. Here we are, the day of the inauguration. He's already signing into law 200 executive actions. You can see there, Eric Trump's pumping the fight. Let's see the chat, guys. Let's keep it rolling. There you go, the fight. Love to see it. It's very imperial. Crowd's going crazy for Barron. Looks like the band's getting ready for something. They've got trumpets in hand, so maybe Trump's going to walk into some trumpets. Be very fitting. Let's see. So yesterday, Trump descended from probably around that level into the crowd, through the crowd onto the stage, which is pretty remarkable. We'll see what he has in store for us today. More Barron chants. He can't believe it. Oh, Eric. They want Laura. That's amazing. America loves this family. This family has sacrificed a lot for this movement, for this country. And you can see there's a lot of love in that room. Risked bankruptcy, risked prison, risked their lives. Pretty remarkable. You don't see that too often. See, they keep zooming into that door area. Perhaps President Trump will walk in again through there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome the official fanfare music group of the President of the United States. Under the direction of Major Aaron Morris, the U.S. Army Band Herald Trumpets performing their fanfare that's actually written for the 47th President of the United States. Listen to this, it's amazing. This is Brass and Glory.
I think they said this was written specifically for Trump.
The official fanfare music group of the President of the United States under the direction of Major Aaron Morris. Let's hear it for them, folks. Brass and Glory.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 50th Vice President of the United States of America, Vice President J.D. Vance, accompanied by the Second Lady, Mrs. Usha Vance.
Here we go, J.D. Vance. Looks like they're walking through the crowd again. The people's president. The people's vice president right there. So cool. The kids are back in the White House. The adults are back in the White House, but the children are also back in the White House. We have real families in the White House again. That's pretty cool. You hear the JD chants. Chad's saying we're back. I agree. America is back. Here we go. This is for Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, accompanied by the First Lady, Mrs. Melania Trump.
Everyone's on their feet. Hail to the chief. This feels good. We're back. Man. Without making his way to the stage through the crowd. These supporters have been waiting for Trump since like 4 a.m. And do you think anyone would stick around for Kamala like that? No. Here we are. We're back. America's on fire, ready to go. Making his way to the stage right now. Unbelievable. Day one. Where are those USA flags in the chat? That's my president right there. Look at that. They don't need to tell Trump where to walk on stage. He can do it all by himself. We're back. Oh, this man's ready. He's locked in. That's a first, the USA dance with the chant. He's taking it in. See Steve Witkoff there as well, one of Trump's closest friends, special envoy to the Middle East, business partner. Look at that massive presidential seal. Amazing. The energy in there is unbelievable.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now present a selection of participants for the 2025 Presidential Inaugural Parade.
Here we go. So what we're watching is the presidential parade that was moved indoors because of the weather and perhaps some security concerns that are very much real. So here we go. This might be branches of the military is what we're looking at. Or states, maybe. Oh man, what a moment. What a moment. Here we have the fire uniform of Corey Carpenter, who lost his life at Trump's Butler rally, shielding his daughter from incoming bullets from Trump's assassin, would-be assassin. What a moment. So this is probably his fire unit. Wow. I had chills watching this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the heroes of Butler County are here.
Heroes of Butler County, Pennsylvania. Wow.
And they are here to pay homage to the life, selfless community service, and sacrifice of Corey Carpenter. Mr. Carpenter, a 10-year U.S. Army Reserve veteran and past fire chief to the Buffalo Township Volunteer Fire Company, who died during the assassination attempt on the life of President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, July 13th, 2024. Their formation consists of Pennsylvania State Police, local police, county sheriffs, emergency services unit, EMS, 911 radio dispatch, and hospital personnel, who all heroically stepped into action during the horrific attack. They are also paying tribute to the courageous service of first responders nationwide.
So Trump is starting his presidential parade by honoring the life of Corey Comparator. That is amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this very special event, let us now take a moment of silence in honor of Corey Comparatori. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
We now present to you the New York Military Academy from Cornwall-on-Hudson, New York. New York Military Academy stands out due to its unique connection to the president himself. President Trump is a 1964 graduate and has been enshrined as one of our alumni of distinction. This historic academy has been named the Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, that's JROTC, and are marching with their cadet dress uniforms. Look at these, all modeled after post-World War I General Blackjack Pershing's gray uniform.
You can see Trump's alma mater there being processed before him as the sitting president of the United States. Of course, Trump's now home, Palm Beach.
Introducing the Palm Beach Police and Fire Honor Guard unit, representing the town of Palm Beach, Florida. This group consists of police officers and firefighters from the town of Palm Beach, home to some of the most prestigious people in the world, including President Donald J. Trump.
Here we go, Trump's original hometown of New York.
And here we go, ladies
Everyone's on
and
their
gentlemen,
feet.
the NYPD Emerald Society Pipes and Drums from New York City. They have performed internationally in Ireland, Canada, Australia, Germany, and Switzerland. And as of this past December, the band has had the distinct honor to perform at the 75th commemoration of the attack on Pearl Harbor in Oahu, Hawaii. The band has also played for hospitalized children, military veterans, as well as the 1980 and 2005 presidential inaugural parades, and His Holiness Pope John Paul II. The NYPD Emerald Society Pipes and Drums formed way back in 1960. And you know, they are the oldest, the largest police pipe band in the United States, comprised of all active and retired police officers of various ranks and assignments. Listen to those bagpipes. Let's hear it for it, folks.
Amazing. This crowd has been standing since like 4 a.m. and here they are. They are fired up.
And look at this, here's one that hits close to home for our Vice President. We now welcome the Middletown High School Marching Band and cheerleaders. They're traveling all the way from Middletown, Ohio to proudly represent their school, our nation, and outstanding alumni, including our new Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance.
We have J.D. Vance's high school marching before him as the sitting vice president. What a moment.
The band has performed in countless parades, community and sporting events, as well as competitions. They have also always qualified for the Ohio Music Educators Association state finals for 23 years straight. How about that? And have earned the highest rating in 18 of those appearances. Woo! And today they performed America's Sweet Land of Liberty.
Trump's got to love this. What are the chances Joe Biden and Kamala are watching this right now? Chat saying Joe Biden's asleep. Probably. You're probably right. This is better than Beyonce, and they didn't have to pay her. Or pay them.
And while they cheer here in the arena, let's cheer for him again, folks. From our VP hometown, Middletown High School Marching Band.
There are just a couple acts left in the parade, and then we will hear from President Trump as he signs some watershed executive orders into law. We will bring you that the moment he's ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, entering your arena right now, traveling from Boca Raton, Florida, the Florida Firefighters Pipes and Drums. And they are well seasoned when it comes to civic events. They've played and participated in parades, memorials, and other ceremonial events across both the United States and Europe. Today, they are wearing their most notable uniforms. What a great photo opportunity. Consisting of the Glengarry headgear and kilts. And they are proud to honor their fallen brothers and sisters each and every day.
We're bringing it back to Florida. We've got 2 more bands left, and then President Trump is set to address a packed and roaring arena. This is beautiful. Could you imagine the circus that they would have brought out if Kamala won? It would have been the Cirque du Soleil Christmas parties all over again from the White House. But we're back, baby. Drop it in the chat. Drop the fight, fight, fight emojis. Yeah, the chat saying it would have been Megan Thee Stallion processing her way down the floor We dodged a bullet there, quite literally.
And as the Florida Fighter Fighters pipes and drums leave the arena, we keep the rhythm and the drums going. Please welcome the Stewart's Creek High School Marching Band. Traveling all the way from Smyrna, Tennessee, they are proud to represent the volunteer state in the 2025 Presidential Inaugural Parade.
This is the penultimate band. There's one left, and then President Trump is set to speak. Man, if this doesn't fire up every single person in that crowd.
Established in 2013, that band has rapidly become one of Tennessee's premier high school music programs. This band has participated in numerous civic events that honor significant moments in our nation's history, like the 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor, Captain Jeff Cuss, United States Marine Corps Memorial Dedication, Chicago Thanksgiving Day Parade, And a Lincoln Memorial performance as well. The Stewart's Creek High School Marching Band, everybody. Make them feel welcome here in D.C.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. One more.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now welcoming the Mississippi Valley State University Band. They're traveling all the way from Itabita, Mississippi. Look at this, gang. This is the Mean Green Marching Machine. They are proud to represent historically black colleges and universities at the 60th presidential inauguration.
Of course, Trump always likes to mention that he provided historic funding for historically black colleges and universities. So this is, of course, him wrapping up his inaugural parade with a tribute to HBCUs. The grand finale, of course. again, right after this band finishes playing, President Trump will take the stage to address this roaring arena, and then shortly thereafter sign some watershed executive orders into law. It's electric in there. we go. Moments away from President Trump signing these executive orders into law.
Close to 300 from the Mississippi Valley State University Band. You know, since its founding, the band has consistently played a significant role at their university and across the United States. They have performed for athletic events, Mardi Gras parades, Rose Bowl parades, and many, many more. The Mississippi Valley State University Band takes great pride in presenting culturally diverse presentations for students, faculty, and the surrounding Mississippi communities. Take a look at that brass out there. Woo! That's just part of the big green marching machine. The Mean Green Marching Machine from Itabena, Mississippi, ladies and gentlemen.
Go, guys. Seconds away. I think every presidential bill signing should be accompanied by a drum line. Let me know, chat, if you agree. But I think that's the way to do it. I think that should be the next executive order. I think Trump should sign that on stage right now. Every executive order must be accompanied by a massive drum line. The guy back there is going for an encore. Amazing. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our new special envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff.
Steve Witkoff, of course. One of Trump's closest allies and friends.
Good evening, everybody. I was appointed by President Trump to be the special envoy for peace in the Middle East. And I'd like to describe to you some of the things we're doing and how it informs on President Trump's policies. First of all, it is an honor to stand before you today as I reflect on the enormity of the role that President Trump has tasked me with. I am constantly reminded of the privilege it is to serve under the leadership of my boss, President Donald J. Trump. His presidency has provided a clear, bold vision for the Middle East, and it is this vision that guides every step I take in the mission. President Trump's leadership has redefined what is possible in the pursuit of progress and stability in the Middle East. His decisive, pragmatic approach ensures that even the most entrenched conflicts are met with fresh perspectives and innovative strategies. His policies have already delivered remarkable successes, such as yesterday's release of hostages in Gaza. Thank you. This achievement demonstrates the strength of President Trump's leadership and the respect he commands on the global stage. It is yet another example of his ability to deliver results in the most complex and challenging situations. The Abraham Accords, a testament to his vision and determination, have also brought historic progress to the region, transforming old rivalries into new alliances. These agreements are not merely symbolic. They represent a practical roadmap for peace, economic cooperation, and mutual respect across nations. My role, as President Trump has tasked me, is straightforward yet profoundly challenging: to turn his vision into actionable outcomes. He sets the agenda, he lays the framework, and he inspires people like me into bold action. My responsibility is to implement his vision, engaging with leaders across the region to find pathways towards sustainable peace and stability. And let me tell you, having Donald Trump as a boss makes this task not only possible, but far more effective. President Trump's reputation as a leader who delivers results resonates far beyond Washington. Leaders in the Middle East know he means what he says. His ability to cut through bureaucratic gridlock and focus on tangible results is the game changer. It allows me to approach delicate negotiations with the confidence that the full weight of the United States is behind me. The principles President Trump has laid out for our approach to the Middle East and foreign policy in general are fourfold, and they are clear. 1, respect for sovereignty. Every nation deserves the right to determine its own destiny, free from the interference of external powers. 2, economic prosperity as a bridge to stability. Through economic partnerships and investment, we can build a foundation for cooperation that transcends historical grievances. 3, courageous diplomacy. Real progress requires difficult conversations and bold decisions, and it is through these that trust is built and maintained. And finally, 4, reciprocity and accountability. The United States requires reciprocal actions from our partners. We are done carrying the financial burden for nations that are unwilling
That's exactly right. America first.
We are done carrying the financial burden for nations that are unwilling to fund their own progress. The days of blank checks are over. Partnerships under President Trump's leadership must be equitable, and contributions must reflect shared commitments to our goals. In my work, I've seen firsthand how these principles resonate. They provide a foundation that transcends politics and speaks to the shared humanity of all people in a region. Leaders across the Middle East recognize that this Trump administration is serious about results, not symbolic gestures, but real, meaningful progress that improves lives. Thank you. It's not always easy. There are moments of deep challenge and frustration. Decades of mistrust cannot be undone overnight. Yet I take comfort in knowing that I am not in this alone. President Trump's clarity of vision ensures that I never have to question what success looks like. His leadership provides the confidence and direction necessary to navigate these complexities. As we move forward, my commitment is to continue the work of advancing President Trump's vision for the Middle East. Whether through expanding the Abraham Peace Accords, fostering economic development, or facilitating dialogue between long-standing adversaries, my focus remains on actionable results. Let me close by saying this: a stable and prosperous Middle East is not an unattainable dream. It is a goal within our reach, made possible by strong leadership and unwavering commitment. Under President Trump's guidance, we are proving that the impossible can become reality. Thank you, but I have one more thing to say. We have some special people for me to introduce you to tonight. President Trump has been talking to them as well. They are the families of hostages from Israel who have been in Gaza for the last year and a half. There are many of them here today. Several of the families have lost children and loved ones, and they're here because they're part of an effort to retrieve their bodies so they can be buried in a proper way. Several have children who are still in captivity. There is an American family here whose loved one is scheduled to come out in 14 days, and they're going to be meeting the president tonight. So let's give them all some love and a big hand. Come on up.
Some families there with the yellow ribbon. Wow. President Trump taking the time there with the families. The arena's chanting, "Bring them home." Wow.
And now I get to introduce my dear friend and the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Here we go.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you. So now the work begins. We won, but now the work begins. We have to bring them home. And you know, tonight I'm going to be signing on the J6 hostages, pardons, to get them out.
Boom, there you go.
And as soon as I leave, I'm going to the Oval Office and we'll be signing pardons for a lot of people. A lot of people.
Wow.
And thank
President
you to
Trump's
Steve
making
Witkoff.
some
He's a
big
great
news today
guy.
off the
He's
top.
a friend of mine. He's been a very successful man. He's a great negotiator. He's a wonderful guy. People love him. And he's got a tremendous power of persuasion. And that's what we need. We don't need stiffs. We don't need stiffs. We got a lot of stiffs. You just had a whole load of them. And to the former hostages with us today, welcome. Welcome home. Some of the folks are former hostages. Not a good situation. The three young ladies that came home yesterday, you saw that. More coming home every day now. They're coming home. But they were hurt. They were hurt. They were hurt. One had her head blown off, fingers on her hand, and her hand indeed was blown off. She was trying to defend herself from a bullet being fired. You believe this? A bullet knocked off her hand. I don't know. You look at it, it's a disgrace. We never stopped praying for you, and we're so glad that you're reunited with your friends and families, and God bless you all. And some of them are just saying, no, my son is gone. But please just bring home his body, right, Steve? Many of you have told me that your son is gone, but bring home his body. It should have never happened. 3 years, it's ridiculous. Should have never happened. Wouldn't have happened. I also want to express my tremendous gratitude to the hundreds of thousands of proud American patriots who came from all across the country to join us in this celebration. It's a celebration of a big win. And you're witnessing the dawn of the golden age of America. That's what it's going to be. We're bringing it back. We're going to bring it back fast. We're going to bring it back fast. Let us also thank the incredible service members, National Guardsmen, police, Secret Service, and law enforcement personnel who are keeping us all safe, even though they are great people. New York's finest. I grew up with New York's finest, and we got to give them their authority back. You won't have any crime. There'll be no crime. You give them little authority back. The whole way they run things in this country now, it's disgraceful. But it's going to change rapidly. We're going to make our cities safe again, too. Even though we're indoors, we've had a magnificent inaugural parade. And let's give a big round of applause. They were great. To all of the incredible performers and hardworking men and women who made it possible. Those people, really talented, amazing people. I also want to thank my wonderful family for being here, especially my beautiful wife, our First Lady, Melania. They love our First Lady. And also, JD. How good has JD been? And his beautiful wife, Usha. How good is JD? JD has been great. He's another good negotiator, Steve. He's a great negotiator, too. We need negotiators in this country. But so many of the people on the stage behind, not only family members, as an example, Lara Trump, the wife of Eric. She was the head of the Republican Party, along with my friend Michael. Stand up, the two of you. What a job. What a job they did. They worked so hard. They knew they'd be rigging, but they said, we're going to make it too big to rig, and we did. We made it too big to rig. We won every swing state by a lot. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. We won the whole ball of wax. And now we're going to go and drill, baby, drill, and do all the things that we've wanted to do and bring your costs down, your prices down, and make our country safe. So thank you very much, Michael. Thank you very much. What a job you've done, Michael. I'm never moving you, you know. He was thinking about getting a nice job in the administration. I said, no, I'm leaving you right where you are. You've done a very good job. We're not moving you, Michael. I'm sorry. Anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. Right here with us also in the arena, I'm about to sign some very important executive orders of our new administration. Hey, Don, will you stand up, please? Don is another one. How about Don? This guy. He's a popular one. He goes out and speaks. He gets a big crowd. He's a little on the rough side sometimes, but that's what you want. He's done a fantastic job, and he loves our country. Thanks, Don. Great job. You've done a great job. And Ivanka. And you know, Jared negotiated the Abraham Accords, which are the biggest, it's the biggest deal made in the Middle East in many, many years, and it's really something. Jared, stand up, Jared. The Abraham Accords. And Tiffany's going to have a little baby. And Mark. And then I have a very tall son named Barron. Has anyone ever heard of him? Thank you. He knew the youth vote. You know, we won the youth vote by 36 points. And he was saying, Dad, you got to go out and do this one and that one. And we did a lot of them. And he respects them all. He understood them very well. And he said, Dad, you got to go out, do Joe Rogan, do all these guys. And we did. We did. And Joe Rogan was great. They were all great, right? Darren, they were all good. He understood the market. Another famous one, how about Kai? Stand up, Kai. Is that Byron Donalds back there? Stand up, Byron. Stand up. What a future this one has. What a future. That's great, Byron. Thank you very much. And how about Lutnick, Secretary of Commerce? He's going to take in more money. than any country has ever even thought about. He's going to take in some money. And we have many others. Look, I'm not going to go through it, but we're going to sign some orders right now, and that's really what I want to do. So we're going to sign executive orders. First, I'll revoke nearly 80 destructive and radical executive actions of the previous administration, one of the worst administrations in history. Maybe not one of them, the worst. Anybody that would allow millions of people to pour through our borders from jails, prisons, mental institutions, insane asylums, gang members to be taken off the streets of Venezuela and deposited in our country, and many, not just Venezuela. You know, crime in Venezuela is down 74% because they took their criminals and gave them to us through an open border policy of the previous administration. All over the world, they're emptying their prisons into our country. They're emptying their mental institutions into our country. It stops as of 1 o'clock this afternoon, okay? It stops. So I'm revoking nearly 80 destructive, radical executive actions of the previous administration. They'll all be null and void within about, what, 5 minutes? Is that them over there? 5 minutes? And next, to gain immediate control of the vast federal, out-of-control bureaucracy, I will implement an immediate regulation freeze, which will stop Biden bureaucrats from continuing to regulate. Most of those bureaucrats are being fired. They're gone. Should be all of them, but some sneak through, but we have to live with a couple, I guess. I'll also issue a temporary hiring freeze to ensure that we're only hiring competent people who are faithful to the American public. And we will pause the hiring of any new IRS agents. We will also require that federal workers must return to the office in person. And we're going to take the 88,000 people that they hired to go after you with guns. By the way, they're allowed to use guns and harass you like they were so many other people. Remember this. Okay, remember? Do you remember a little statement about tips? Does anybody remember that little statement? I think we won Nevada because of that statement. But they went out and harassed you over the tips. In other words, we are restoring control of our government to the people. We're going to take those 88,000. Let's see if they'd like to work on the border, because that's what we want them really involved. So we're going to have no tax on tips, right? No tax on tips. And we may have, like the Speaker of the House, is he here? He's done such a good job. Is Mike here? He's around here someplace. I saw him just a little while ago. Hello, fellas. Look at you guys. Yeah, I know it. He's great. He's doing great. They're all doing good. The Republican Party has never been unified like it is right now. They want to save our country. And we're going to more than save it. We're going to make it greater than it's ever been before by a lot. Next, I'm going to sign a presidential memorandum directing every member of my cabinet to marshal every power at their disposal to defeat inflation and rapidly bring down the cost of daily life, because your costs have gone through the roof in the last 4 years. Perhaps you didn't notice. Does anyone notice that costs are like double, triple, quadruple? You can't buy bacon. Apples have doubled in price. You want an apple, anybody? Pay twice what you did 2 years ago. We'll put more money in your pocket, and we'll bring back the American dream and to reduce energy costs and liberate our economy. So we have more oil and gas than any country in the world, and we're going to use it. We're not going to do the wind thing. Big, ugly windmills, they ruin your neighborhood, they ruin you. If you have a house that's near a windmill, guess what? Your house is worth less than half. And did you see up in New England with the whales? You see what's happening? So they had 2 whales killed in about 14 years. Last year and the year before, total, they had 28. So if you're into whales, you don't want windmills either. And they're the most expensive form of energy that you can have by far. And they're all made in China, by the way, practically all of them. And they kill your birds and they ruin your beautiful landscapes. But other than that, I think they're quite good, right? Now, remember when we used to joke and kid when we were kidding, but we don't kid anymore? They want to watch the debates on television. They want to watch your favorite president on television. But the wind isn't blowing, so we can't watch television that night, Gladys. Remember? Gladys, I'm sorry, the wind is just not blowing. We're not watching Trump tonight. But I'm immediately withdrawing from the unfair, one-sided Paris Climate Accord ripoff. The United States will not sabotage our own industries while China pollutes with impunity. You know, China, I mean, look, they use a lot of dirty energy, but they produce a lot of energy. And when that stuff goes up in the air, you know, it doesn't stay there. It's not like you got a wall. We love walls, don't we? Not like you have a wall around and it doesn't. It floats into the United States of America after 3.5 to 5.5 days. It floats across the oceans and it comes right over your neighborhood and it falls into your neighborhood. So they all say, we have to fight for cleaner air, but the other dirty air is dropping all over us. So what the hell are they talking about? Unless everybody does it, it just doesn't work. You know, we had the cleanest air and the cleanest water that this country's ever had under the Trump administration, and we didn't do anything to stop jobs and stop production. Believe me, you're going to see a lot of companies come pouring back because tariffs. I always say tariffs is the most beautiful word to me in the dictionary. Then I was reprimanded by the fake news. They said, what about love, religion, and God? I said, I agree. Let's put God number one. Let's put religion number two. Love, I don't know. We got to put that number 3, I guess, right? And then it's tariff. Because tariffs are going to make us rich as hell. It's going to bring our country's businesses back that left us. And I'll also sign an executive order to immediately end federal government censorship of the American people. In America, we believe in free speech, and we're bringing it back starting today to stop the weaponization. Oh, do I know about that, these creeps? Deranged Jack Smith. You ever hear of him? Deranged. He's a deranged prosecutor. He's sick. They suck him on me. He's now been reduced to getting on an airplane, going back to The Hague or wherever the hell he came from. We got to get rid of that guy. Hey, was he one of the many people that got a pardon today? Did they pardon Jack Smith? You know, did you know that Biden, while I was making my speech, pardoned his whole family? The brother, the whole deal was pardoned. Can you imagine that? While I was making my speech. Did everybody hear my speech? Did you like my speech? Thank you. I mean, the only thing wrong with it is I had a lot of tough things to say, and I have some great people that work for me. Sir, this is such a great speech. It's so unifying. Don't talk about Biden with his pardons of his family. We want a unified country. They said, don't talk about the J6 hostages that you're going to be releasing today. Sir, don't put that in your speech, please. I said, but I want to put it in my speech. They said, sir, it won't be unified like it is. It's so beautiful the way it is. And it is getting great reviews. You know, if I put things like that in, I'll get terrible reviews. One little paragraph that's a little bit wrong, the fake news goes crazy, right? So I said, all right, I won't put it in my speech, but you know what? I'm speaking in front of a hell of a lot of people at a place called Capital One Arena, and I'll talk about it there. So we're going to be going over the beautiful Oval Office, one of the great offices in history. Even if it wasn't beautiful, it's the Oval Office, but it is beautiful. And we love the Oval Office. It all starts with the wars start and end there. Everything starts and ends at the Oval Office. We love it. But we're going to go to the Oval Office. We're going to release our great hostages that didn't do, for the most part, they didn't do stuff wrong. You take a look at what went on, and look what happens in other parts of the country. In Portland, where they kill people, they destroy the city, nothing happens to them. In Seattle, where they took over a big chunk of the city, nothing happened. Minneapolis, where they burned down the city, nothing happened. Essentially nothing happened. All they want to do is go after the J6 hostages. A 76-year-old grandmother was arrested the other day because she was looking, I think because she was looking at the Capitol or something like that. No, we're not going to put up with that crap anymore. And to stop the weaponization of law enforcement, I've been investigated more than any human being in the world. I believe I have the all-time record. Every day a subpoena. Every single day we get subpoenas. I was more than any person. Alphonse Capone, remember I used to talk about it? Now, Alphonse Capone, Scarface, he was a pretty rough guy. He was investigated about 1/100th what Trump was investigated. My father's looking down at me, my mother, how the hell did this happen? You know what it is? They investigated their political opponent, the opponent of Biden, and then ultimately Kamala. Has anyone ever heard of Kamala? We had to beat two opponents, you know? We had to beat Biden, then we beat him. Now he goes on top, the guy was like 39 points down. I think I could have beaten Trump. They should have left me and I would have beaten. No, his debate performance wasn't the best, right? That's what killed him. And then they had a change, and that's like you get into a fight. The great Dana White spoke last night. We love Dana White, right? UFC. That's like he puts in two fighters, one of them's getting creamed, getting really beaten, and they say, all right, take him out, let's put somebody else in to finish up the fight. That's what they did to us. They gave us somebody new, but we took care of both of them. So we beat actually two opponents. But to stop the weaponization of law enforcement and our government, I will also sign an order directing every federal agency to preserve all records pertaining to political persecutions under the last administration, of which there were many, and beginning the process of exposing any and all abuses of power, even though he's pardoned many of these people. Can you believe it? He's pardoned them. You know why he did it while I was speaking? Because that way I couldn't speak about it. I was speaking. I didn't know he did it. I finished my speech, and they said, sir, he pardoned his whole family. I said, ooh, can I go back out there and talk about it? Somehow that wouldn't be very elegant. Our First Lady would say, please don't do that. But we have plenty of time to talk about it, and we will. We're doing all of this on our very first day in office. You know, don't forget, we've been in this position, really, where we won the primaries in record time. We're the fastest win of a primary ever in political history, which is a very nice thing. It's nice to know. Well, the second election was rigged, so we knew we were doing well. And if it wasn't, you know what? If it wasn't, I would have never run. But the third one was just a monster. Boy, was that a big one, huh? That was a big one. When the second one, we got like 10 or 12 million votes more than the first one. How about that? We did great on the first one. We did much better on the second one. But bad did we do well on the third one. So we're gonna have some fun. It's very simple. We're gonna make our country great. We're going to make our country great again. We're going to make America great again. How good a name is MAGA, though, right? You know? I was going to say keep America great, but unfortunately it wasn't great. Can't say keep it great. It will be great again, but CAG, keep America great, CAG, I don't think it's ever going to replace MAGA. Does anybody like CAG? I don't think so. It's never replacing MAGA. Nothing will ever replace MAGA. MAGA was the most successful political operation, political movement in the history of our country, maybe in the history of the world. Let's see what happens. Because we're not finished yet. We're not finished yet. We got a long way to go. But we're doing this on the very first day in office, and in just a few moments, I'm not only signing the release of the J6 hostages, I'm signing other things that you're going to love. Oh, you're going to be happy reading newspapers tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So I just want to thank, I mean, look at this place. It's full to the rafters. You don't have any. Look at those people up there. You don't have any empty seats. And by the way, the Capital One owners, they are so good. We got to root for their teams because they have been so great to MAGA, to us. And I just want to thank Ted and everybody. You guys have been fantastic. And the ice hockey team's doing great. Ovechkin's pretty good, right? They're doing great. So I want to thank them, Capital One arena owners. They have been absolutely fantastic. And thank you once again to everyone. And I can only tell you, you're going to be very happy. You're going to watch a lot of good things happen. We got to stop some wars that are happening and going on. Some stupid things are happening. The war with Ukraine would have never happened, and it has. As you know, Israel would have never been hit on October 7th, and none of you would be up here. None of you would even know anything about this tragedy that you're going through right now. But Iran was broke. Anybody that bought oil from Iran, they couldn't do any business with us. You're not going to do business with America. China passed, everybody passed, they were broke. They didn't have money for Hamas, they didn't have money for Hezbollah. And your sons would be alive, and they certainly wouldn't be incarcerated like they are. It's a shame, but we're getting a lot of people out in a short period of time. So I'm going to go right over to here, and I'm going to sign in front of you. Is that okay? Good.
First is the rescissions of 78 Biden-era EOs and presidential memoranda.
You want to go over that? Do you want to say it? Do you want to say it?
Oh, if you want me to, sir.
Why don't you say what I'm signing?
Sure. The first item that President Trump is signing is the rescission of 78 Biden-era executive actions, executive orders, presidential memoranda, and others. Thank you, sir. Thank you. The second item, President Trump, is a regulatory freeze, as you announced in your speech, preventing bureaucrats from issuing any more regulations until we have full control of this, the government and this administration. sir. The next item, sir, is a freeze on all federal hiring, excepting the military and a number of other excluded categories, again, until full control of the government is achieved and we understand the objectives of government going forward.
Could you imagine Biden doing this? I don't think so.
Sir, the next item, as you announced in your speech, is a requirement that federal workers return to full-time in-person work immediately. Thank you, sir. Next, we have a directive to every department and agency in the federal government to address the cost of living crisis that has cost Americans so dearly. Thank you, sir. The next item here is the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Treaty. Yes, sir. We're going to save over $1 trillion by withdrawing from that treaty. And the next item, sir, is a letter that will be transmitted to the United Nations explaining that we are withdrawing from the Paris Climate Treaty. Thank you, sir. This next item is a directive to the federal government ordering the restoration of freedom of speech and preventing government censorship of free speech going forward. And lastly, sir, before we go back to the Oval Office to sign a large number of other items, is a directive to the federal government ending the weaponization of government against the political adversaries of the previous administration, as we've seen. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Pretty fun job.
The future of MAGA is here. Forgiato blow.
What did I just watch? I can definitively say now America is back. Trump signing a series of America First policies there, including ending the weaponization of government once and for all. Right there. Unbelievable. President Trump is now headed straight to the Oval Office, where he'll sign another slew of executive orders and pardons, ensuring that his agenda is implemented and the muscular implementation of America First is, in fact, at hand. I cannot believe that. President Trump tossing pens into the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 4 years of that energy. Let's freaking go. That's unbelievable. That crowd was on fire as President Trump rattled off a series of actions he's taking, including freezing, hiring at the IRS, for making federal employees go back to work, which is unbelievable. We're sending them these boatloads of tax money, and yet they can't show up to work? Absolutely not. So Doge is already being implemented from day one. Unbelievable. What a night. President Trump there defiantly speaking about freeing January 6 hostages. He used the word hostages, which is very important because they are hostage to a hostile system that has been turned against them, a rogue regime that has weaponized itself against the people it's supposed to protect. So what we're going to be seeing tonight is the continuation of this very energetic entry of Trump into the executive office, where he will continue to implement his agenda. This is the epitome of promises made, promises kept. I cannot wait to see what President Trump has in store for us in the Oval Office. Unbelievable. This is history, what we're living through. There's no other way to say it. You can see people are now starting to leave Capitol One, but people stuck around. They wanted to catch every last bit of action from our president, and they've been there since 4 a.m. I mean, this is the America First movement. It's a movement of love, and President Trump clearly loves this movement. He's sacrificed a whole lot, and yet here we are. He's the 47th president of the United States and signing a slew of executive orders, unburdening America from what has been under the Biden administration, and also implementing what is definitively the most America First day one agenda I have ever seen in my lifetime. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Trump right there saying he's pardoning every January 6th hostage. This is what he's doing on his first day in office. It's an unbelievable show of force, and I certainly can't wait for the next 4 years. Unbelievable. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. People are still dancing in the arena. What energy! This is what MAGA is. It's such a we have the best people. We really do. People are there doing the YMCA. Of course, Trump danced the YMCA last night on that very stage with the Village People. Amazing. The whole crowd is dancing. Unbelievable. So great. The energy in that room is high. We have friends in that room right now who tell us they've never seen anything quite like it. We have actually Benny seems like he's joining to give us his snap reaction after a historic address from President Trump. So whenever he's ready, we'll pop him on and get his take on this. Maybe a little Trump dance.
What's going on, Benny? What's going on, guys? How are we doing? I
can't believe what I just watched.
We once again a unbelievable amount of entertainment here inside of the hospital, as we have welcomed our brand new baby boy to the world. We went to the hospital at 1 o'clock in the morning this morning, and we are now ready, ladies and gentlemen, for the golden era. This is a wild bit of a news and update. I've been down here. Mom and baby are sleeping right now. So I've been down here working and calling on the phone to see what is happening right now with January 6th political prisoners. And I can report to you that based on sources that I have inside of the DOJ and based on individuals that I've spoken with, lawyers for January 6th political prisoners, that they are being released right now across the country in mass. Ladies and gentlemen, rejoice. The chat should rejoice. January 6th political prisoners are being released in mass right now across the nation. Hundreds of prisoners that have been persecuted by their government and by the Biden regime are being let out of jail. Is a prison official, a federal prison official, walked to her son's jail cell, and even though he had 18 more months on his sentence, opened up the cell and said, "Let's go, you're getting out of here tonight." And when he asked how, he says, President Trump has signed your pardon, and it's been transmitted, and this is somebody in Kansas. It's been transmitted, and you're free. Get up, let's go. It is literally a historic moment that is happening right now before our very eyes. This is something that we've cared a lot about on the show, something that we've cared a lot about on the program. We've covered for years. Every single hit we do with a member of Congress, every hit we do with the senator, every hit we do with Mike Davis, everything we do with Julie Kelly. And so it is just a day of rejoicing and liberation. And I just want to report back to you. Sing hallelujah tonight. Sing hallelujah tonight. The January 6th political prisoners are now being released by the hundreds, if not thousands. And finally, when I texted a DOJ source, this is somebody who works inside of the DOJ, when I texted a DOJ source about this, I said, how many are being released tonight? And I got one word back. All. A-L-L. All of them are being released tonight. So President Trump is going to head back to the White House. He's going to sign these executive orders. And we are going to get, ladies and gentlemen, I think, freedom and justice after just hours from President Trump. The glorious, glorious moment. I'm so uplifted. I'm so happy. This is the single happiest day of my entire life. And I'm and so it is the most wonderful and encouraging and uplifting day of my existence on this planet. I think today, if you put it all together, if you include everything in it, it doesn't get better than this. And this is the cream on the top. I will say this final thing. These people have suffered. Many were speculating that there wasn't going to be a pardon for all January 6th political prisoners. Many were speculating that this was going to be simply for the J6 political prisoners that were prosecuted under effectively like a trespassing or a documents case, right? 51 Section C 230. That is not correct. Allegedly, this is all of them, and this isn't the end. What happens next is that many of these J6 political prisoners, now that they've been pardoned by the president, get civil liabilities, and they get compensatory liabilities. So they are able to then sue the federal government, sue the Biden regime, sue Merrick Garland, sue Lisa Monaco, sue Jack Smith, sue the judges, Tanya Chutkin, who put them in prison. Many of these people have not been pardoned, and many of these people, ladies and gentlemen, will get their day in court and will get their chance to be made whole again, if that is possible. I'll say this: there are many January 6th political prisoners who have perished and who have, by their own hand, and we pray for them tonight and their families. And in the small, darkest part of everyone's soul, that at the very least, a glimmer of justice and hope for these people has now burst forth, and they are walking free across the nation. And it is a glorious, glorious night in America.
Yeah, I had chills watching that entire speech. Trump sort of teed up his announcement there by signing his declaration, warning basically the deep state against weaponization of government. And now, as you can see right there, he's headed straight to the Oval Office, where he will actually put muscular action behind that declaration and sign these watershed pardons for January 6ers. I'm just blown away by what President Trump has brought to this inauguration. It's been
Look at this dope live shot. Look at this dope live shot. Oh, that's so amazing.
Oh yeah.
So awesome.
With a 40, 45, 47 license plate. Can't beat it.
Oh, it's so awesome. So he's going now from Capital One Arena to the White House. You're talking like maybe a half mile here for this drive.
Yeah,
so
it's not far.
He'll be there, and now he's entering now the gates around the White House. So he will be Donald Trump will be inside of the White House compound very soon. Okay, well, and there you go. Now we got all right, here we go.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you, Klein. Klein is a total G, man. No one's faster, dude. Danny, I just want to again say thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody who's watching. 100,000 people on this, 100,000 people on YouTube. We have hundreds of thousands across other platforms, and we're just so appreciative for you watching on Facebook and Rumble, X. It's a family. This is a family show. It's a family business. This is my family. Danny is my family. You all watching digitally are my family, and it's been so special to experience all of this together. And now I know we've brought a number of J6 political prisoners on the program. We were the first people to go interview Jacob Chansley. We were the first show to interview Jacob Chansley and to go out there and to let him have a voice. Nobody had ever interviewed Chansley before. He's if you don't know who Jacob Chansley is, he's a guy who wore the bison horns and buffalo horns. And so we've gotten to know these families. We've gotten to know these moms. We've gotten to know these dads. And we've gotten to know these people who have their sons, daughters, grandmothers in prison because of Joe Biden. And that dirty, evil bastard pardoned his own degenerate scum crime family on the way out the door, and then pardoned some other mass murderers, and then did nothing for these people, locking up his fellow Americans for doing nothing. And tonight we are going to see justice inside of that house. Danny, is it correct that he's going to be signing more executive orders inside of the Oval Office, that they're going to hold off and go into the Oval Office and be signing more?
They said they're signing actually a lot more than they signed at the Capital One Arena. So it seems like that was kind of like the preview to what they're going to do now. They previewed a lot of pardons, so I assume that's going to be a lot of the actual physical January 6th pardons are going to come very shortly. I mean, we often talk about like Trump. We often write headlines about Trump being a conquering hero. The image we're about to see is literally Trump being a conquering hero.
Yes,
walking onto the White House grounds, defying all odds, really. So it should be an amazing moment.
Klein, thank you so much for being so quick with this. The question that I have as the beast, that now Trump is in the official beast. So this is now the White House grounds. So where Donald Trump is driving by is the United States Treasury, and he's driving through those steel barricades into the actual physical White House. So what you're seeing here is he's currently on the White House grounds, and he's driving across a large promenade that is typically reserved for pedestrian walking only, and then driving into the White House. So now he is on the White House compound. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just me being hopeful. It is literally happening. I have it confirmed through January 6th political families, and I have it confirmed through the DOJ that January 6th political prisoners by the thousands, at least hundreds, but potentially by the thousands, released tonight, released right now. It's actively happening. I'm texting right now with one J6 mom who is on her way to be reunited with her son. So you should be crying tears of joy and happiness. I began my morning crying tears of joy. I think it's only acceptable as a man to cry in very, very limited circumstances, and don't ever make a big deal out of it. But I cried during the birth of my child. The birth of your child is a time where you are allowed to be misty-eyed as a man because it's a spiritual event. It has deep spiritual ramifications. And I think that there are people who are very misty-eyed tonight, crying tears of great joy because this man is back in the White House. You saw Donald Trump enter the White House grounds there. Donald Trump's presidential limousine, lovingly known as the Beast, has now pulled around. And we hope that there's going to be a shot of Donald Trump inside of the Oval Office in some type of pool feed. Potentially, you'd have to assume that Donald Trump is going to be signing these things, and it's going to be on a live feed. But I'm not exactly sure.
Right.
I have to check
Yeah,
with the producers. Danny, do we see anything like that?
Answer on it.
Okay.
I assume if they teed it up so much, they'll at least have some kind of shot for it. I know after this, Trump is speaking at 3 different inaugural balls. So the night's just getting started for President Trump, and
Incredible.
I assume he's going to want to get all these pardons and all these executive orders signed as soon as possible. So I don't see them dragging it on too long.
Okay. Well, that is the breaking news. That is why I wanted to hop on here and just give everybody, again, that breaking news and joyous news that it is. I'm not sure there could possibly be better news for our friends and for the people who have been so wrongfully persecuted throughout the nation. You've seen many of them, their lawyers, their families, their mothers and fathers on this program. Many of these people simply walked into the United States Capitol. That's all they did. They simply stepped into and through a door that had been opened for them by law enforcement. And then they got, some of them, multiple years in prison. Some individuals who were not even at the Capitol building during January 6th were sentenced to 22 years. And yet you cannot find me a single case where anyone who burned the nation to cinders during the Antifa and BLM riots was sentenced at all. In fact, many of the DC judges effectively threw out in mass any type of cases that were being brought against the looters, the destroyers during BLM and Antifa. This is the definition of political persecution. And this witch hunt ends now with a good witch's death. A spell and a curse has been lifted from our country. It's so wonderful to see. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at the motorcade. Danny, can you let me know, is there any indication that there's going to be a pool feed inside of the White House? I know that we're running the show on a skeleton crew here.
Right. As of now, there's no feed showing that. I assume Trump right now might be greeting his staff privately as he walks into the White House, his first time walking into the West Wing. So I assume that's going to be maybe more private, but I don't see them not broadcasting what they just teased up at the Capital One Arena. But we'll see if that comes in the form of a pre-recorded video or live.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, is this Fox News right now?
Entering the White House. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Here's Trump entering the White House. There you go.
Barron.
Amazing. So we may actually see it. Melania Trump rocking that hat, man. Although it did live long day.
Trump said she was going to levitate and blow away.
That was Trump entering the White House. Okay, fantastic. And we will look. Oh, look, it's our friend Mike Davis. Let's listen in.
Be proud again.
Yeah. Now, Katie, so watching the faces, we have to have a little fun here. Watching the faces of Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton and even George Bush. I mean, this is nothing personal about any of them, but they all made Donald Trump possible. If it weren't for some of their failures, Donald Trump would not be president, whether it was Iraq war or whether it was the border or whether it was spending, whether it was, COVID and the continuation of the mandates.
Hey, guys.
Donald Trump is possible because of their failures. Right.
Yeah.
Do you think they realize?
Klein, I've got to scoot. So I've got to move. I really hope that they have a live feed of the White House. You have our dear friend Mike Davis right there. But I've got to head back upstairs. I've been down here doing these texts and calls, and it's been really emotional. It's been really incredible speaking with some of these J6 families. Let's hope that we can see President Trump actually signing these pardons. He says he has a boatload of them to sign. But since I'll be signing off right now to go back up to be with my wife and baby, I just want to say again, it's a family. We thank you. We love you. And this is why we do this. America first means my American children first, and someone who I wish to pass my values on to. You won't have an America First movement if nobody has kids, if nobody's out here passing on their values and raising up the next great generation of Americans. And so I just thank you so much for supporting our channel and supporting us. Please punch like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. I know we've probably gotten... The comment section has been a literal nuclear meltdown all day. And I just want to say thank you, because by watching and helping, you support us and you support our work. And we're just profoundly thankful for all of you. I consider you my family, and I always take care of my family. So thank you all so much. Danny, you're a true OG. Looks like we got Tom Homan on. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll see what's up tomorrow. God bless you. I love you. Thank you. It's Benny.
Hey, Benny. There you go. Benny taking a short little break from taking care of baby Whitaker Johnson and Nurse Kate to hop on the live. So there you go. We got Tom Homan here. Tom Homan, I'm telling you, I've seen him a couple times. That guy's got his game face on. He is ready to go. Let's listen to what he has to say.
And we're going to
call it down a little. Okay.
Calling the terrorist organization, the criminal cartel being designated terrorist organization is a game changer. That's going to help secure the border. Also, the interior enforcement operation starts tomorrow. ICE agents, they're going to lose the handcuffs they've had to put on them by the Biden administration. They're going to put the handcuffs on the bad guys.
Well, Tom, I was watching our friends over at one of the other networks this morning on MSNBC, and they went on and on about how expensive deporting migrants is going to be. I think we have it. Let's watch.
Trump's actions today include declaring a national emergency at the southern border. As far as we know, the latest reporting is that there isn't one at the southern border. Some of the crossings are at the lowest they've been.
Okay, so there is no emergency. The crossings are the lowest they've been. And they're saying that Donald Trump won't deport as many people as Obama did.
It's ridiculous. First of all, the numbers aren't down significantly. They're down a little bit because Mexico stepped up enforcement because they wanted Joe Biden or Kamala Harris to be reelected. The numbers are still historic because they're putting thousands through the CBP-1 app, which we stopped today. Right. They put thousands through the CHMV program, Cuba, Nicaragua, Haiti, Venezuela, and there's still thousands every day. I see reports daily, thousands being arrested by the Border Patrol. And you count the gotaways, there's still historic numbers. They just created several different buckets and call them legal pathways, which are not. There's the same population of illegal aliens coming across the border.
Now, we heard that Chicago was going to happen tomorrow and maybe some other cities. Then we heard that was kind of called off. What's the story there?
The story of Chicago, a specific operational plan was leaked. So we pulled back and looking at officer safety concerns. It's always a dangerous job. Yeah. But what did it do did it raise your officer safety concerns? So we looked at it, we made a decision. People will find out real soon what we're going to do.
And Tom, when you think about where we've been over the past 4 years, the totals, we don't really have totals, but what's your best guess of how many people came into the country who did not deserve legal status, any type of regularized status, who came in because they allowed them in? How many do you think?
Over 10 million.
Over 10 million. And right now, they're still paroling people in, or they were paroling people in from Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Cuba on humanitarian parole. Is that over?
Absolutely. The parole process is going back to the legal way. They've abused the parole process.
Hundreds of thousands.
Even the 5th District federal judges says not only are they ignoring the law, they're breaking the law. That ends today.
So that parole of hundreds of thousands of people over the last year, today that's gone.
Massive parole's over. The parole is supposed to be a case-by-case analysis based on the rules of the law. They have not done that. They've given massive parole to millions of people who don't qualify for parole.
Now, a lot of folks were watching the titans of the tech world up there, and the titans of the tech world, they like bringing a lot of people into the United States on H-1B visas. They say we need those workers. I have a disagreement with some of that. I think it's way too many people. But what about that? What about bringing in foreign workers that a lot of Americans are concerned depress wages for Americans and then discourage young people from going into fields like engineering?
Well, before we bring tech workers in, we need to make sure there's a need for them, right? We got to make sure it's American workers can't fill those jobs. The Department of Labor needs to work really closely with CIS to make sure there is a need and not displace American workers. President Trump's about America first. We're going to make sure that happens.
Tom Homan, we got caught on camera doing a selfie going into the rotunda. That was fun. That was hilarious. I was like, yeah, we're doing it. My buddy. All right, Tom, great to see you.
Thank you. I appreciate having me. Thank you.
All right, coming up, Trump's triumphant return is the story for the ages. Next.
Taxes was
What you're looking at there is a live shot of the White House where President Trump is currently inside the White House, most likely heading to the Oval Office where he is set to sign a slew of executive orders that he just teased in a packed arena in downtown DC, where he spoke about pardoning every single January 6th hostage. What we're about to witness is absolutely historic. President Trump, of course, walking into the White House there, flanked by Melania and Barron not too long ago. It is truly a moment to behold here with President Trump officially back in the White House. You know, we've seen him today doing his presidential duties post-inauguration, but now is the first time we see him inside the White House, walking in like a conquering hero. What we're about to see very shortly is pretty remarkable. What a historic night there. President Trump signing not just a sweeping declaration and a warning to the deep state about weaponizing the government against its own citizens and promising to pardon every single January 6th hostage, but he also talked about very concrete steps he's taking to curb the growth of the deep state, including halting all freezing of IRS workers, very clearly sending a message to the deep state that their reign over this city, over this country, over this land, over this people will no longer endure. And it's a new golden era in America. And President Trump is not skipping a beat as he enters his first full, or not even his first full day, his first day in the White House, in the Oval Office. So shortly, I hope we'll get live footage of Trump signing these pardons from the Oval Office. Then we'll have some kind of video that will be sent to us directly from the White House, and we'll play that. We'll play that for you very shortly. You heard right there Tom Homan also on Fox News not too long ago. Tom Homan is going to play a very key role in this new administration. And from what I'm hearing, it all starts tomorrow. Tomorrow, mass deportation operations are taking place across the country, from Washington, D.C. to New York to Miami. They are not wasting a second in securing our border, and it's going to be a raucous first week of the American Golden Age. You also heard there President Trump talking about, securing the border, talking about actually building the wall that Biden just refused to build. What we're going to see here are truly historic times. Also some breaking news, huge news actually. Marco Rubio has been confirmed to be Trump's Secretary of State in the Senate in a vote 0 to 99. So I think we won that one pretty convincingly. So President Trump is already filling his cabinet. Marco Rubio set to take the department to be Secretary of State, to take the Department of State in Foggy Bottom, and he's already confirmed. So there you go. It's a really good sign for what's to come for Trump's cabinet appointees if they're already getting confirmed at 7:20 p.m. on a Monday on his first day in office. So I'm sure we're going to see a lot more positive news come down the line regarding President Trump's cabinet picks and them getting confirmed to their respective offices. The White House is golden because we are officially in the American Golden Age. Pretty amazing. The Oval Office, of course, is located in the West Wing, which will be it'll be on the right of your screen, to the right of the main sort of White House building. And that is where President Trump most likely is at this very minute right now, signing executive orders. As soon as we get a shot of that, we're going to take you. We're not going to miss a moment. We've been live since 10 a.m. this morning, and we're not going to stop now. So if we get signal and footage of Trump signing these watershed executive orders, we will take you there. Let's check in on what the balls currently look like. Trump is set to speak at 3 balls later tonight. Let's see what's going on there.
Constitutional rule of law.
All right, joining me now,
Here we
Rod
go.
Blagojevich, former Illinois governor, knows a little bit about the
Lago.
lawfare deal. Gov, how are you?
I'm doing great.
What do you think about this? This is sitting there in the rotunda today, watching the faces of the old establishment,
Yes.
watching the Trump family. It was just so beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. How important and significant is this moment for the country?
It's a very important moment. Today's the beginning of America's renaissance and America's comeback. Trump's going to lead America to a comeback as great as his political comeback. And I'm very excited about what he's going to do for our country.
Well, right now, we are waiting for President Trump to sign more executive actions. We don't know what camera we're on. This is live TV and a ball. By the way, how do you like this music? Is it loud enough for you? It's like 80s, 70s. Sweet Child of Mine. Yeah, that's good. Good deal. But when you think about who counted him out and what they wanted America to think, he was an insurrectionist. He was a traitor. He was a criminal. They branded him all of that the minute January 6th happened, and now we're going to get into the pardon thing later, but Biden, the Democrats want that to just go away. I don't think America's going to forget what they did.
No, they're not. And I think President Trump is showing America what it's like to be strong and tough and never give up and never give in and to sacrifice, which is what he's done. And from a personal point of view, I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am to him. Not only did he bring me home, but he also made mugshots fashionable. And I happen to have one of those.
Well, we have a Fox News alert. Primetime's live from the Liberty Ball. Oh, I'm looking at something else. I'm sorry. I got teleprompters out the wazoo here. All right, guys. I think what we know right now is Trump wants to reach across the aisle. He made it clear that he'll work with anybody, and he wants to be the peacemaker, not just internationally, but within politics domestically. Let's watch.
I wish we could have had a better relationship. I wish we could have had a better relationship between Republicans and Democrats. I was with Senator Schumer. I said, Chuck, I think it's time we all start getting along a little bit because it doesn't make sense. I mean, we literally never get a Democrat vote. They never get a Republican vote, almost.
What does that say? Donald Trump, who wants Democrats and Republicans to come together for the good of the country. Governor, we've had 4 years of inflationary spending, $200 billion to Ukraine with zero audit, an open border, And Donald Trump walks in there today in that rotunda, and he said, that's over. America's decline is over. How important for the country was that to hear that?
It's very important. I hope my fellow Democrats put aside party affiliation and put their country first. This is the time when all Americans should remind themselves we are all Democrats, we are all Republicans, Trumpocrats. It's time to come together and solve the problems of this country and work with a man who knows how to get things done and solve problems.
What do you think about the Tim Cook, the Sergey Brin? You had, obviously Musk has been doing a lot for Trump, but you had all these people who were really willing to throw Trump in jail, frankly. I mean, they just thought, they at least seemed to think that Donald Trump was anti-democracy, an oligarch in waiting, but they were all there. I mean, the biggest money makers in the United States of America came to that swearing in. Donald Trump was making a statement by putting them there. What statement do you think he was making?
The statement he's making is that there's a new sheriff in town, and that he's the big dog now, and that it's time to follow his leadership and solve the problems of the American people, because the American people gave him a mandate to do exactly the things he talked about doing today.
Now, speaking of Democrats who don't get it, from my home state of Connecticut, it kills me to say this, but Chris Murphy, who said, the inauguration was brought inside because Donald Trump knew he couldn't get a crowd together. Well, you've been around the streets, right?
Right.
Oh my God, he would have had at least 500,000 people here. But he's basically up in arms about the tech bros even being in Washington, D.C. Watch this.
This is the unraveling of our democracy, because what is happening before our eyes, literally on that stage today, is that the billionaires who control huge parts of this economy are trading favors with Donald Trump behind closed doors, often where none of us can see it.
Behind closed doors, he's giving him freebies. Do you think that's really what he's doing? Or is he telling them, all right, guys, you're rich and you're going to still be rich, but it's time to get some of it, bring the bacon home.
Yeah, no, I think what he's doing, what President Trump is doing, is he recognizes that if the guys who have the money are part of growing an economy, everybody benefits. And there's that Democrat again, talking from the talking points from recent polling. Exactly. They haven't learned their lesson. The American people are tired of being lied to by these Democrats. You can't fool them anymore.
And you would have thought, Governor, that after this election, there would be some recalibrating. John Fetterman has been really interesting. And obviously he saw where his state went, right?
Right.
But he's been very interesting how he said, I don't agree with them on everything, but they have some interesting ideas.
Very much.
He's smart.
Very smart, very encouraging. My kind of Democrat. I almost want to give up this tuxedo and get a hoodie.
Shorts.
Yeah, and shorts.
He showed up at the rotunda in shorts today, so it's pretty fun. Now, voters obviously want change. So a new CNN poll said that 95% of Democrat voters, Governor, say that we need change, with 13% saying the party needs to be completely revamped. 45% say there needs to be major change. So, I mean, it looks like the voters kind of know there's something needs to be done. But the question is whether Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, who did not look happy. I was feet away from him today. He did not look happy this morning.
So if you're asking me what the Democrats are likely to do, or I'm fearful they're going to be the same old inside Washington Beltway Democrats trying to block the initiatives that President Trump is going to try to put through, following the mandate of the American people. That's my fear. Now, the power of the people can change all that. And what you got with Schumer and these Democrats basically are professional politicians, and they're afraid of the people. They don't trust the people, and if they hear from the people, they'll cave in, just like they've done before.
A couple of friends of mine's daughters were talking today about, you had a few, entertainers here, right? And you had a lot of entertainers who showed up for Kamala Harris. So Bruce Springsteen, we're hearing "Born in the USA." By the way, America, it's an anti-war song. It's not. Everyone thinks "Born in the USA" is like it's an anti-war song.
Right.
But so, we had all these celebrities come out for Kamala Harris, But there's an interesting thing happening in the hip-hop community. We had, of course, Nelly is performing tonight here. We had, obviously, Kid Rock is big. Snoop Dogg performed. I was there at the Crypto Ball. And it's a little sign of change, perhaps, in the entertainment community that this is half of America, more than half of America. So Taylor Swift, God bless her, she's an amazing talent, but she's got bad advice. Don't you think she just got bad advice to, like, endorse Kamala Harris?
Well, my daughters are Swifties.
My daughter is too.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
But they're not watching
My daughter,
tonight.
yeah.
No, what I think is happening, too, when you mention some of these entertainers is they see in Donald Trump a very unique political figure. He's not your typical politician.
Yeah.
He has become a larger-than-life, iconic figure, and he shows bravery, courage, toughness, and strength.
And if you would have told me in 1984 that YMCA would be a song that a president would use as his rallying cry, I never would have believed it. Gov, great to see you. Thanks for putting up with the music. All right, so everyone's partying it up here at the Liberty Ball. They're going crazy. Huge crowds came in. But Congress is already getting to work on President Trump's cabinet. So let's go live to Capitol Hill, where Fox News senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram, he's standing by. Chad, what can you tell us?
Good evening, Laura. Well, two big things from Capitol Hill tonight. The first cabinet secretary of President Trump's cabinet has been confirmed. The former senator now, Marco Rubio, Republican of Florida, he was confirmed 99-0. He voted for himself, which is very rare to have a senator who's up for a cabinet position to do that. But the vote was 99-0. He indicates that he will, in fact, be sworn in tomorrow. The other big news here from Capitol Hill is that they have now passed the Laken-Riley Act in the Senate. The vote there was 64-35. It requires automatic detention for illegal immigrants who are arrested for shoplifting or other minor crimes. That was significant because it had reasonably broad Democratic support. There were 12 Democrats who voted for this bill, and the 2026 midterms are already out in full force because I've noticed that the NRSC, this is the national organization devoted to electing Republicans to the Senate, just put out a statement criticizing Jon Ossoff. He's the Democratic senator from Georgia who's up in 2026 for not voting in favor of this. Now, this bill, the Laken-Riley Act, that will be the first piece of legislation to go to the new president to sign into law. It's not ready just yet. The reason is they have to move it back through the House of Representatives. There were some changes to the piece of legislation. It was also an original Senate document, so they have to bounce it back via parliamentary ping pong here to the House of Representatives. The House should approve that on Wednesday, and then it's ready to go to the president for his signature. The other thing that we're looking at here is when they will try to move some of these other nominees for President Trump. Voted out of committee tonight, the Armed Services Committee, was Pete Hegseth. He is up for defense secretary. He's probably going to be confirmed in the coming days, not right away, because Democrats want to slow that down a little bit, but he should be able to have the votes. Keep in mind that at full power, which the Senate Republicans are not at right now because they have two vacancies, the Vance seat in Ohio and also now the Rubio seat in Florida. They will be at full power very soon with those two new senators coming in. But they can lose, up to 3 senators on the GOP side of the aisle. We're told that Susan Collins, the Republican senator from Maine, is undecided on that nomination right now. But maybe some confirmations as early as tomorrow. Back to you.
Chad, thank you very much. 99-0 for old Marco. Not bad. Joining me now, an old friend, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. Isn't this fun?
Oh, it's so fun.
Isn't winning
awesome.
great?
It is good. It's wonderful.
Now everyone's been fighting for so long, and you're still going to have to fight. But this moment, being in that rotunda today, watching that swearing in with the old guard, watching Donald Trump's laid waste to their whole. How significant is this?
Oh, it's huge. It's hugely significant. And I thought, Laura, you're exactly right. Being there in the rotunda, listening to President Trump tell them to their face that they had failed, which is true, and laying out that new vision for what he's calling a golden age, inspiring.
Well, I know people said, oh, it's kind of negative but I think it's important for him to say, our country can never do that again. We cannot open our borders like that. We cannot spend into an inflationary spiral. We cannot send our money into a war that has an unclear prospect, and they were seething. I mean, I'm sorry, I was sitting right there to look in the eyes of Barack Obama and to look in the eyes of Kamala Harris. I mean, they were like, and I think Jill Biden, did you see Jill Biden? I think Jill Biden was the angriest, but Joe Biden, he was actually the best of all of them, I think. He was like, well, I lost. I mean, he was actually all right.
But, you know, really, my view is that the message was incredibly positive.
Oh, totally.
Because it's looking forward to the greatness of this country, recalling what we were, looking forward to what we could be, and saying that, listen, the problem isn't with America, the problem is with the leadership class, and he's going to change it.
All right. We have to talk about the big news, because this was all breaking as we were sitting there at the rotunda, that and at the St. John's Church. We're sitting at St. John, we go, oh my God, he pardoned Fauci? The COVID crimes, you're pardoning him. So we had all these people forced to take that shot who lost their jobs. A lot of them have, to this day, side effects. And no one pays any price for that. Right. No one.
It's outrageous. And also, let's not forget,
Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger,
and his whole family.
Committee.
I mean, the Biden family. I mean, it is an admission of the corruption of this regime war.
What did Jim Biden really do? What did Joe's brother really do that he needs a pardon for?
We should find out. My view is these are not legal. They're not binding. We ought to find out, put these people under oath.
All right, Donald Trump just walked out. We're going to go live and watch. He's signing more executive actions. Let's take a look.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages.
Here we go.
Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutation?
Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research. Okay. Nice to see you again. So this is a big one. Anything you want to explain about this? We hope they get them. We hope they come out tonight, frankly. They're expecting it. Approximately 1,500 people. Six commutations.
Were there any cases you did not commute or pardon people?
We're looking at different things, but the commutations would be the ones that we'll take a look, and maybe it'll stay that way, or it'll go to get a full pardon.
And the order does require the Bureau of Prisons to act immediately on receipt of the pardons and commutation orders. Sir, this is
Why don't we get that down so they can get them going right now?
Yes, sir.
Is that okay?
Yep, absolutely. Good. This is a proclamation guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion based on the current crisis at the southern border. It invokes various executive powers relating to the ongoing invasion at the southern border.
Mr. President, what makes you confident that those are not going to be blocked by the courts?
I don't think they will. I don't think they can be. They're very straight up. Why don't you take that and go over here? Can you get him over here, not on the side angle? Do you mind? Just go right over here with your friends. Okay?
Sir, this is an executive order realigning the United States refugee admission program to better align with American principles and American interests.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir. This next executive order is about protecting America from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. Again, crisis at the border, but it goes beyond that, and it implicates other executive powers as well.
Okay.
President Trump, if cartels are now going to be seen as foreign terror organizations, would you think about ordering U.S. Special Forces into Mexico to take them out?
Could happen. Stranger things have happened.
Mr. President,
And that was actually
that Maduro would accept Venezuelans.
Say it.
How will you make sure that Maduro will accept Venezuelans?
Well, we're going to see on Venezuela. We're looking at Venezuela very strongly. It's a country I know very well for a lot of reasons, and it's, boy, it was a great country 20 years ago, and now it's a mess, right?
Sir, can we expect ICE raids starting tomorrow in major cities?
What does that mean?
Can we expect ICE raids in major cities?
I don't want to say when, but it's going to happen. Has to happen, or we're not going to have a country left.
This is actually an executive order designating the cartels and other organizations to be foreign terrorist organizations.
That's a big one.
Yes, sir.
People have wanted to do this for years. So they are now designated as terrorist organizations, foreign, and Mexico probably doesn't want that, but we have to do what's right. They're killing our people. They're killing 250, 300,000 American people a year, not 100, like has been reported for 15 years. It's probably 300,000.
This is an executive.
President, Mexico doesn't want that. How are you going to deal with this?
I don't know. You'll have to ask them.
Sir, this is an executive order entitled Protecting the American People Against Invasion, which again deals with the southern border and the unprecedented admission of illegal aliens across the southern border.
What do you see the biggest national security threat to the U.S., Mr. President? What's going to be your priority on foreign policy?
Say?
What's going to be your priority on foreign policy? What do you see as the biggest national
Foreign
security
policy is a big statement. I mean, my priority on foreign policy is going to be to keep America safe. Very simple. It's a big question, though. That's a very big question.
Who is going to be the first foreign leader that you plan to meet, or who are you going to call tomorrow on your first day?
I've already been meeting people. I've been meeting them. I've been talking to them. I met with Prime Minister Trudeau, who I call Governor Trudeau. I met with numerous foreign leaders. Go ahead.
Sir, this next order relates to the definition of birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment of the United States.
Yeah, that's a good one. Birthright. That's a big one.
What about that one in the course? That one is likely to be challenged.
Could be. We think we have good grounds, but you could be right. I mean, you'll find out. It's ridiculous. We're the only country in the world that does this with birthright, as you know. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. But, you know, we'll see. We have very good grounds.
Sir,
people have wanted to do this for decades.
Sir, this is a proclamation declaring a national emergency at the southern border of the United States.
That's a big one. A lot of big ones, huh? You know what that means, right?
President Trump, did President Biden leave you a letter?
He may have. Wait. Don't they leave it in the desk? I don't know. Oh.
What's in there?
Thank you, Peter. It could have been years before we found it. Wow. Thank you.
Can you say on the outside?
Maybe we should all read it together.
Let's read it.
Well, maybe I'll read it first and then make that determination.
That sounds great.
Peter, thank you very much. I may not have seen this for months.
Happy to help with the passing of the torch.
I did. I left him one in the desk just like this.
What are you talking about?
Unification of our country. You know, I didn't know that he gave a pardon to his family because he did it during my speech.
He didn't tell you in the letter?
No, he didn't tell me. No. He did it. They released it during my speech. I mean, during my speech. So all I could do was say, excuse me, I'd like to come back and speak some more. So, no, we were surprised by that. It's bad precedent, obviously.
Where are you thinking on tariffs on Mexico, given these actions you're signing on the border?
Well, we're thinking in terms of 25% on Mexico and Canada because they're allowing vast numbers of people. Canada's a very bad abuser also. Vast numbers of people to come in and fentanyl to come in.
When do you think you would enact those?
I think February 1st.
Are you planning on giving notice of that?
I think we'll do it February 1st.
25% on both, sir?
Sir,
On each.
On each? Yes.
this is an executive order taking a large number of executive actions to secure our southern border.
Okay? Sounds reasonable.
President Trump, we remember 4 years ago, Barack Obama had told you that the top threat to the country was going to be North Korea. Did Joe Biden tell you what he thinks the top threat to the country is right now?
No. I think we have a lot of them. Right now, I think we have a lot. I think North Korea turned out to be good. I was very friendly with him. He liked me. I liked him. We got along very well. And they thought that was a tremendous threat. Now, he is a nuclear power, but we got along. I think he'll be happy to see him coming back.
And
I think he has tremendous condo capability. He's got a lot of shoreline.
Thank you, sir.
Are you going to work with countries from South America to coordinate on immigration?
About who?
About immigration in general.
This is an executive order. Sorry, sir.
I'm fine with legal immigration. I like it. We need people, and I'm absolutely fine with it. We want to have it. We need it because we're going to have a lot of companies coming in to avoid tariffs. You know, if you don't want tariffs, all you have to do is build your plant in the U.S. So we're going to have a lot of workers coming in, but we have to have legal immigration.
Do you have a date in mind for when you want to put on the China tariffs that you're talking
Which
about?
one?
60%?
No. You're talking about which? Say it again.
The China tariffs, the broad
China?
tariffs?
Well, as you know, I put on large tariffs on China, and they've really been forced to leave them. And if we didn't leave them, you wouldn't have one steel mill that's open in this country because they were dumping massive amounts of steel. We've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars from China because they were unable to terminate the tariffs I put on China because it was too much money and the budgets didn't work and other reasons too. No, I mean, we're going to have meetings and calls with President Xi. I spoke to President Xi last week, as you know. Did you know that? I had a very good phone call.
Did you start with NATO at this moment? Are you planning to meet your NATO allies?
No, NATO has to pay more money. NATO has to pay 5%. We're in the Ukraine war by $200 billion more than NATO. It's ridiculous because it affects them a lot more. We have an ocean in between. And we've spent $200 billion more on Ukraine than NATO has spent. And they've got to equalize.
Did you talk to Xi about the Ukraine war?
Yeah.
Because China and Brazil together has a proposal to bring Russia and Ukraine to talk.
That's good. That's fine. I'm ready.
When are you going
That's
to talk
good.
with the Brazilian
How did
president?
Brazil get involved?
Brazil's involved.
This is a new one.
When are you going to talk to Lula?
Are you from Brazil?
From Brazil.
When
are you talking?
That's why they're involved, I guess.
When are you going to talk with the Brazilian president? How do you see your relationship with Latin America and Brazil?
Great. Should be great. They need us much more than we need them. We don't need them. They need us. Everybody needs us.
Mr. President, it sounds like you will not proceed with additional China tariffs necessarily, depending on how talks go with President Xi. Is that correct?
What does that define that?
Well, we were asking, you pledged in the campaign potentially a 10% tariff on China or as much as...
Because of fentanyl.
Right. So I'm asking where you're...
That's only because of fentanyl. There are other things too.
Are additional...
And a very big thing is the Panama Canal. China controls the Panama Canal. What's that all about? They're not supposed to be good. When Jimmy Carter gave it, which was a terrible mistake, he didn't do it. He didn't give it to China. He gave it to Panama. And China controls the Panama Canal.
So are China tariffs...
And we're not going to allow that to happen.
Are they still on the table or is that...
We're not going to allow that to happen.
Thank you, sir.
What can we expect of the countries in NATO that spend the least amount of money, like Spain, France, below the 5%?
Spain is very low. And yet, are they a BRICS nation?
What?
They're a BRICS nation, Spain. You know what a BRICS nation is? You'll figure it out. But, and if the BRICS nations want to do that, that's okay, but we're going to put at least a 100% tariff on the business they do with the United States. You know what the BRICS is, right? You guys know.
Brazil.
You know what I'm saying, right? You know what I'm saying.
So this is
It's not even a threat. In fact, since I made that statement, Biden said, well, they have us over a barrel. I said, no, we have them over a barrel. And there's no way they're going to be able to do that.
This is an executive order relating to
tariffs, those countries like Spain.
As a BRICS nation, yes. They'll have 100% tariff if they so much as even think about doing what they thought.
Can you explain how it's
And therefore they'll give it up immediately. So will China give it up.
So this is about reforming the system of hiring in the federal government to ensure that merit is the lodestar of hiring decisions as
As
opposed
per
to
the Supreme Court.
other matters. Yes, sir.
Here's a big deal, merit. Our country is going to be based on merit again. Can you believe it?
Mr. President, you said you would end the Russia-Ukraine war on your first day in office. Where do things stand right now, and how do you intend?
Well, it's only half a day. I have another half a day left. We'll see. We want to get it done.
This is an order creating and implementing the Department of Governmental Efficiency, known as DOGE.
Okay, that's a big one.
Is Elon Musk going to get a West Wing office?
No, he's getting an office for about 20 people that we're hiring to make sure that these get implemented. We have a problem in this country. You sign an executive order, it doesn't get done for 6 months. As an example, when we allowed the J6 hostages to go out, it might not be approved under the old days for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months. You know, they had a good ruling from the Supreme Court, and it's like nothing happened. That ruling was 6 months ago, you know that. And it was like they didn't have a ruling. They've been treated very unfair. The judges have been absolutely brutal. The prosecutors have been brutal. Nobody's ever treated people in this country like that.
Mr. President, are you commuting the sentences of anyone who assaulted a police officer on January 6th?
Well, we're looking at 2 police officers, actually, that Washington police officers who went after an illegal, and things happened, and they ended up putting them in jail. They got 5-year jail sentences. You know the case. And we're looking at that in order to give them we got to give them a break.
But is there clemency in your actions today for anyone?
Well, it would be a pardon. That would be a pardon. The one I'm talking about would be a pardon.
Here you go, sir.
Should there be punishment for the people who assaulted law enforcement officers that day?
Well, I will say this. They've been in jail for a long time already. I see murderers in this country get 2 years, 1 year, and maybe no time. So they've already been in jail for a long time. These people have been destroyed. What they've done to these people is outrageous. There's rarely been anything like it in history, in the history of our country. And even people that were aggressive, and in many cases, I believe they happen to be outside agitators, but, you know, what do I know, right? But I think they were outside agitators. There were outside agitators involved. And obviously the FBI was involved because Ray admitted the FBI was involved. Didn't he say 23 people indirectly or directly were involved, and it was then 26? That's a lot of people. Now we got to take care of these people have been treated so badly. It's never happened before. What happened in Seattle where they took over a big portion of the city? What happened in Portland where they burn down the city every day and people die? Nothing happened to anybody. But they go after these people violently. I mean, they're still going after brand new people. They found somebody else with a picture. There's never been anything like this. And you know, it's almost 100%. Think of this. Almost 100% of the people are convicted. 100%. It's Washington, D.C. People go into a trial and they say, oh, I have a wonderful lawyer and I didn't do anything wrong. And they end up in shackles almost immediately and jail. No, we're not going to let it happen.
About Greenland, we have some interest in buying it, but is there any other option that would satisfy you?
About what?
Greenland, instead of buying it.
Finland?
Greenland.
Oh, Greenland. Greenland is a wonderful place. We need it for international security. And I'm sure that Denmark will come along. I think it's costing them a lot of money to maintain it, to keep it. The people of Greenland are not happy with Denmark, as you know. I think they're happy with us. We had representatives, my son and representatives went up there 2 weeks ago, and they like us. So we'll see what happens. But Greenland is necessary, not for us, it's necessary for international security. You have Russian boats all over the place. You have China boats all over the place, warships. And they can't maintain it.
When are you going to be talking with Vladimir Putin?
Who?
Do you plan to meet President Putin, sir?
I'll be meeting with President Putin.
When?
I don't know. I can't. It's being set up.
What your first trip for that might be, sir?
So the first foreign trip typically has been with UK. But I did it with Saudi Arabia last time because they agreed to buy $450 billion worth of our product. I said, I'll do it, but you have to buy American product, and they agreed to do that. They bought $450 billion. It was the least reported story I've ever been involved
And
in.
now, where are you planning to go now?
Well, I don't know. If Saudi Arabia wanted to buy another 450 or 500, we'll up it for all the inflation.
Mr. President, you say you were going
think
to
I'd
end the
probably go
wars first day. How do you plan to end the Ukraine war?
Well, we're going to try and get it done as quickly as possible.
Do you want to push Israel and Saudi
It should have
Arabia?
never started. You know, the war with Ukraine and Russia should have never started. It would have never started if I were president.
Will you push Israel and Saudi Arabia to normalize relations?
I don't think I have to push them. I think it's going to happen, but maybe not quite yet. But they'll end up being in the Accords, the Abraham Accords.
President Trump,
I think Saudi Arabia will end up being in the Abraham Accords.
This year?
Could be, but soon. Not in a very long way. Oh, look at that! It says TikTok. My! What is that all about?
First, we have Alaska, sir. This is an executive order relating to unleashing Alaska's potential as an energy reservoir for the entire nation.
And what about Anwar?
I believe that would be included in aspects of the order.
So we're opening up Anwar.
on the TikTok piece, President Trump, you and your members of your team now used to warn about the dangers of TikTok spying on Americans. What changed that you're not worried about that anymore?
Well, it depends on the deal. I mean, I may not do the deal or I may do the deal. TikTok is worthless. Worthless. If I don't approve it, it has to close. I learned that from the people that own it. If I don't do the deal, it's worthless, worth nothing. If I do the deal, it's worth maybe $1 trillion, $1 trillion. So if I do the deal I'm talking about doing it for the United States. If I do the deal for the United States, then I think we should get half.
The TikTok.
In other words, I think the U.S. should be entitled to get half of TikTok. And congratulations, TikTok has a good partner. And that would be worth, could be $500 billion or something. It's crazy. The numbers are crazy. But it's worthless if the president doesn't sign, then it's worthless. If the president does sign, it's worth maybe $1 trillion. So I think, like a joint venture, I think we would have a joint venture with the people from TikTok. We'll see what happens. I mean, that's one of many ideas I've had.
The CEO now, did he say that he's open to that idea?
Who?
The CEO of TikTok is around.
Oh, I think he'd probably like it. Because he's got nothing. I mean, they really have nothing. It's passed in Congress. It gives the president a right to make a deal or to close it. And we have 90 days to make that decision. But I could see making a deal where the U.S. gets 50% of TikTok, polices it a little bit or a lot, depends on them. But remember, they make telephones in China. They make all sorts of things in China. Nobody ever complains about that. Here they're complaining about this. There's so many different products made in China, and nobody ever complained about it. The only one they complain about is TikTok. And TikTok is largely young people. I guess I have a warm spot for TikTok that I didn't have originally. But, I went on TikTok, and I won young people up by 36%, Peter. And Republicans typically don't do too well with young people. But it's a different Republican Party.
Would the U.S. government buy a portion of TikTok then, or how would it get that 50%?
No, you'd take 50% of TikTok for the approval that TikTok could continue in business. And they'd have a great partner. The U.S. would be their partner. But the U.S. essentially would be paid for doing that half of the value of TikTok.
Would there be a private sector owner as well?
Could be, yeah, could be a lot. Tell you what, every rich person has called me about TikTok.
You wanted to block TikTok. Why did you change your mind?
Because I got to use it. And remember, TikTok is largely about kids, young kids. If China's going to get information about young kids, I don't know. I think, to be honest with you, I think we have bigger problems than that. But you know, when you take a look at telephones that are made in China and all the other things that are made in China, military equipment made in China, TikTok, I think TikTok is not their biggest problem. But there's big value in TikTok if it gets approved. If it doesn't get approved, there's no value. So if we create that value, why aren't we entitled to like half?
Sir, if you don't 90 days, will you shut them down?
Does Biden ever do news conferences like this? How many news conferences, Peter, has he done like this?
Like this?
None.
0.
And it would be 0 for the next infinity. For infinity, it would be 0.
Mr. President, when you plan to talk to President Musk, going to help implement the executive orders? I think you mentioned implementation.
Elon, no. Elon's very busy sending rocket ships up to various places with lots of satellites on them.
What is your reaction to the confirmation of Marco Rubio, and what does it mean for Latin America?
Which one?
Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio. You said Marco
Rubio.
Yeah, I think he's great. I think Marco's doing a fantastic job. I think he's going to get a lot of votes. I think he's going to be at 90% or something. I mean, I'm hearing very good. People know him. They know him in the Senate. They know he's good. He's doing a good job. I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know what's going to happen with that. He's got some very strong ideas now, Marco.
You signed the TikTok order, right? Did you sign the TikTok order?
Yeah.
Yes, that was just signed.
President Marco Rubio's ideas is
Just signed it.
How many
still
did you sign?
changing Venezuela, changing power. Are you still committed with Maduro leaving power in Venezuela?
Well, we're going to find out about that too, because we're going to probably stop buying oil from Venezuela. We don't need their oil.
Another embargo like the first term?
No, it could be, but we don't want to buy. We don't have to buy their oil. We have plenty of oil for ourselves, so
President Trump.
that'll change Venezuela quite a bit.
President Trump, there was a lot of concern about this during the campaign. A question that only works today. Are you a dictator on day one?
No. I can't imagine even being called that. No, I believe in the sanctity of the vote. The Democrats didn't because they cheated like dogs, but I believe in the sanctity, and this was too big to rig. This last election was just too big to rig.
Mr.
But
President,
no, really the opposite.
When do you plan to speak to President Putin?
Could be very soon.
And you talked a bit about Ukraine and Russia, but how long do you think it would take to end that conflict? And
I have to speak to President Putin. We're going to have to find out. He can't be thrilled. He's not doing so well. I mean, he's grinding it out, but most people thought that war would have been over in about 1 week. And now you're into 3 years, right? So he can't be thrilled. It's not making him look very good. Now, eventually, you know, I mean, it's a big machine, so things will happen, but I think he'd be very well off to end that war. We have numbers that almost 1 million Russian soldiers have been killed. About 700,000 Ukrainian soldiers are killed. Russia's bigger, they have more soldiers to lose. But that's no way to run a country.
What did your TikTok order do, Mr. President?
It just gave me the right to sell it or close it. Essentially with TikTok, I have the right to either sell it or close it. And we'll make that determination. And we may have to get an approval from China too, I'm not sure. But I'm sure they'll approve it. And if they don't approve it, it would be somewhat of a hostile act, I think. But it's good for China if it gets approved.
Mr. President, you're not guaranteeing that TikTok will be around after 90 days from today?
No, but it could very well be. It makes sense for it to be, because it's got tremendous value. But if we create the value by approving, you know, in other words, that approval gives it tremendous value. If that's the case, then we should be entitled to 50% as a country. You understand? You haven't heard that one before, right? That's called a joint venture. And nobody ever thought that way before. Well, I don't know. I think you have a lot of people that would be interested in TikTok with the United States as a partner.
Mr. President, what was it like walking into the Oval Office this evening?
Oh, what a great feeling. One of the better feelings I've ever had.
Do you like this town better now than in 2017?
Well, we're very experienced now. You would say nobody's ever had experience like I have. I've dealt with some very good people. I've dealt with some very bad people, and I know who the bad ones are and the good ones are. You know, don't forget, I was very successful in primarily the real estate business. And people used to say, who's worse, a politician or a vicious real estate developer? And I'd always say, you know, the real estate developer is far worse. But after about 3 months and getting to know scum like Adam Schiff and other people like that, I said, no, actually, real estate people are quite nice by comparison.
You said you plan to speak with President Putin soon. What about President Zelensky, and what's your message?
Yeah, I would, but he's told me he wants to make a deal. I mean, he wants to make, Zelensky wants to make a deal. I don't know if Putin does, he might not, I don't know. He should make a deal. I think he's destroying Russia by not making a deal. I think Russia's going to be in big trouble. You take a look at their economy, you take a look at the inflation in Russia. So I would hope, I would cut along with him great, and, you know, I would hope he wants to make a deal.
Mr. President, are you keeping U.S. sanctions on Russia until he makes a deal?
Well, sanctions or tariffs. I think the word tariff is much better because it keeps your dollar stronger. I think tariffs are more effective. I mean, I use sanctions on Iran. Iran was broke. When I left office, Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, none. They were flat broke. And October 7th would have never happened. And I think you all know that. It would have never happened. They had no money. Now they're rich, but, you know, they're weakened in a different way. I would say that the one attack by Israel really set them back. It really set them back. The Pages, and others. You know, the attack on air defense was a bad attack for Iran.
What are you signing now, sir?
It's an executive order relating to reforms to the federal workforce, including to the senior executive service.
We're getting rid of all of the cancer. I call it cancer. The cancer caused by the Biden administration.
How confident are you, Mr. President, that you can keep the ceasefire in Gaza and conclude the 3 phases of this deal?
I'm not confident. It's not our war, it's their war, but
apologize.
I'm not confident, but I think they're very weakened on the other side.
Do you support the 2 states?
Gaza, boy, I looked at a picture of Gaza. Gaza is like a massive demolition site. That place it's really got to be rebuilt in a different way.
Do you plan to help rebuilding Gaza?
I might. You know, Gaza is interesting. It's a phenomenal location. On the sea, the best weather. You know, everything's good. It's like some beautiful things could be done with it, but it's very interesting. But some fantastic things could be done with Gaza.
How do you see the future in governance for Gaza?
Well, it depends. I can't imagine you could have, well, you certainly can't have the people that were there. Most of them are dead, by the way, right? Most of them are dead. But they didn't exactly run it well. Run viciously and badly. So you can't have that.
Mr. President, on TikTok, sir, would you pause any decision on Chinese tariffs until you know what the resolution on TikTok will be?
No, if China didn't approve it, we could put tariffs on China. Don't forget, China charges us tariffs, and we charge them very little, except for what I did. I put a lot of, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars. But until I came along, China never paid 10 cents to this country. They ripped us off, and they never paid anything. But like, if we wanted to make a deal with TikTok, and it was a good deal, and China wouldn't approve it, then I think ultimately they'd approve it because we'd put tariffs on China. Maybe. I'm not saying I would, but you certainly could do that. And if we said, well, if you're not going to approve it, then that's a certain hostility, and we'll put tariffs of 25, 30, 40, 50%, even 100%. And if we did that, I think they'd approve it.
President Trump, you've seen the other living presidents a couple times in the last few months. If you ever had to call on one of them for advice about anything that's going on here, which one would you call?
It's an interesting. Well, I thought Bill Clinton was a very good politician. I don't think he was used properly. I think they disrespected him. When Hillary was running, he came back and he said, you know, you better get up to Michigan and Wisconsin. You remember that, Peter? Every house has a Trump sign on it. And they all laughed at him because the Republicans hadn't won Michigan or Wisconsin for decades, long time. And they all laughed at Bill Clinton. Like, the hell does he know? And he turned out to be right because I won both of them. And then we just won both in this election, too. We won Wisconsin and Michigan and every other swing state. We won all the swing states, all 7. They talked about 7 swing states. We won them all. So, but Bill Clinton he had a great political sense, I think.
You looked like you were having a good conversation with President Obama at President Carter's.
I was. And you'd like to know what it was? Oh. Everybody wants to know. I know, I wouldn't want to, but we were having some crazy conversation. Why do you asking a question like that? I don't think you want to know. You might not. You might be insulted.
It's an executive order relating to holding former government officials accountable for unlawful disclosure of sensitive information. This next one, sir, is a declaration of a national energy emergency.
So you also
That's a big one. You know what that allows you to do? That means you can do whatever you have to do to get out of that problem. And we do have that kind of an emergency.
President Trump, at some point will you use your powers of the presidency to tell Americans who are concerned about drones?
Yeah, oh, good. Yeah. I will.
Can you tell us now?
In fact, I'd like to know because I just got here.
What do you think?
I just came here. I've been here for, 15 minutes now.
Do people listening, because this is going out live.
And I got to read this letter, too. Because of you, I found this letter.
I can read it for you.
It's interesting. Yeah, I know you would. Your father would, too.
But is it anything these drones? Is it anything that people need to be worried
No, I think it's terrible. I would like to find out what it is and tell the people.
And can you commit to some kind of...
In fact, I'd like to do that. Could we find out what that was, Susie? Okay? Yeah, why don't we find out immediately? I mean, I can't imagine it's an enemy or there would have been, people would have gotten blown up all over. Maybe they were testing things. I don't know why they wouldn't have said what it was. They had a lot of them flying over Bedminster, which is interesting. Right?
And with the events today and yesterday, was everything moved inside just for cold weather, or was there some kind of security?
No security, because they had everything shut down to drones. You can shut that down pretty easily if you're sophisticated. They're very sophisticated, these people. No, it was just cold weather, and we made a good move because, first of all, I thought it was incredible in the Capitol today. You know why I liked it? Because I got great reviews on that speech. I got great reviews. Can you believe it? They actually were fair. Maybe the fake news is changing.
Unleashing energy production.
Yeah, unleashing energy production. But I thought it was, I think having it in the Capitol is great. It's obviously, you can take care of the people you have to take care of. The city was booming. And if we would have done it outside, people would have been hurt because it was really cold. It was looked sunny. But when you stood outside for 10 minutes, people were running back in. It was really cold and really windy. The wind brings it down a lot. So we made the right decision. You couldn't have stayed. I don't think you could have had it out. You know how cold it was today. It was, people went out for a little while just to test it. They couldn't stay out more than 10 minutes. They all came back in. So we would have had a disaster if we did that, and people would have been hurt.
The unlawful disclosure deal, is that related to the Hunter Biden situation?
Which one?
The one on unlawful disclosures by federal officials, is that related?
No, I think it's just more general than that. It's not Hunter Biden. I was surprised that President Biden would go and pardon his whole family, because that makes him look very guilty. I could have pardoned my family. I could have pardoned myself, my family. I said, if I do that, it's going to make me look very guilty. I don't think I'd be sitting here, frankly. If I did that, I don't think I'd be sitting here right now, because I would have shown that you're guilty. But by pardoning his brother or brothers, by pardoning all of those people that he pardoned, by pardoning J6, the Unselect Committee, they destroyed all of the documents. They deleted all of the information. There's no information. And a lot of the information pertains to Nancy Pelosi because she was given 100, I mean, you know this, it's on tape with her daughter. Nancy Pelosi was responsible for not taking advantage of 10,000 soldiers or 1,000. You wouldn't have you could have used 400. It was a relatively small crowd. It wasn't the crowd that was at the mall. It was a small crowd. So I was a little bit surprised that he did it because it makes him look guilty. I mean, he's going to have to live with it. Now, with that being said, it's unbelievable precedent it creates for a president. But the precedent is unbelievable. Now maybe every president that leaves office, they're going to pardon every person they ever met so they don't have some lunatic like deranged Jack Smith, who's a total lunatic, by the way. Not a smart guy either, he's a dummy. But we beat the hell out of him. And I helped my reputation.
Do you think you'd have to do the same thing at the end of this term?
Well, I guess now I have precedent to do it. I wouldn't want to do that. No, I think it makes you look very guilty. I think it makes Biden look very bad, very weak, and very guilty. And I mean, he pardoned everybody. How about this J6 committee? Why is he pardoning them? The reason is because if you delete and destroy documentation, everything, they have nothing because they were guilty as hell. They rigged it. It was a rigged deal. And when you do that, they look very bad, but I was a little surprised he did it. Liz Cheney, I mean, she's a lunatic. And she lost by the greatest margin in the history of a politician running for Congress, like 40 points. The reason it was the greatest is because anybody losing that badly is going to drop out. But she's a nut job. She doesn't drop out. You know, she just keeps chugging forward. And she lost by almost 40 points. That's the biggest number anybody's ever lost by. But why would Biden do that? He pardoned her and pardoned everybody. The reason is that they destroyed documents. And if you're even in a civil case, which this wouldn't be, I mean, people go to jail for a long time for doing that. What's this one?
That's unleashing American energy, sir. It relates to easing permitting processes and other regulatory systems to ensure that we can produce energy efficiently to drive the American economy forward.
President Trump, looking around the office, we noticed some changes from the way that Biden had it set up. Can you confirm that you have added back the Diet Coke plan?
I think this, first of all, I just got here. So my people came in. They have extraordinary decorator sense, right? Let me just see some of the pictures. Oh, that's a good one. I could live with him. I could live with George Washington, I can tell you. I could live with Thomas Jefferson. I could live with most of them. They took a very safe route. They don't have any bad ones up there.
Withdrawing from
What is this one?
Withdrawing from the World Health Organization, sir.
Ooh, that's a big one. So we paid $500 million to World Health when I was here, and I terminated it. China with 1.4 billion people. We have 350 to pay. We have, nobody knows what we have because so many people came in illegally, but let's say we have 325. They had 1.4 billion. They were paying 39 million. We were paying 500 million. It seemed a little unfair to me. So that wasn't the reason, but I dropped out. They offered me to come back for 39 million. In theory, it should be less than that, but you know. And when Biden came back, they came back for 500 million. He knew that you could have come back for 39 million. They wanted us back so badly, so we'll see what happens.
Mr. President.
Pretty sad though, think of it. China pays 39 million and we pay 500 million. And China's a bigger country.
Mr. President, you spoke about inflation today in your remarks. What actions are you taking today that will have a direct impact for Americans on their everyday costs to bring the costs down?
The biggest thing and factor for inflation is energy. They screwed up my energy policy, and then they went back to it. You know, they hurt it really badly, and then they went back to it, and they started drilling more, but by that time it was too late. Many of these things that we're signing and that Doug Burgum is going to be signing, and Chris Wright, who's phenomenal, you know, Department of Energy. We're going to be taking a lot. We're going to make a lot of money from energy. We have more than anybody else. We're going to make a lot of money from energy. We're going to make a lot of money from tariffs. You know, European Union charges us. They have a VAT tax of 20%, but it's really much higher than that. And that's the equivalent, almost the equivalent of a tariff. And they're tough. They're very tough. And they don't take our cars. They don't take our farm product. They don't take almost anything. And yet we take their cars, we take their farm product. We take a lot from them. So, you know, we have like a $300 billion deficit with the European Union. So we'll straighten that out with either tariffs or they have to buy our oil. The one thing they can do, our oil and gas, the one thing they can do to catch up quickly, buy our oil and gas.
Will you travel?
And they should do that.
Will you travel to China this year?
Yeah, it could be. I've had the invite.
President Xi invited
I would do
you
it.
to
Yeah,
come this
I
year.
would do it.
Talking about the European Union and the tariffs, like, what do you mean when you say that European Union countries like benefits part of BRICS?
That are what?
BRICS.
Oh, BRICS. No, I was talking about BRICS. BRICS are 6 nations. I think it's 7 nations. And they were looking to do a number in the United States. And if they do that, they won't be happy about what's going to happen to them.
Are you still considering a universal tariff, Mr. President, on all countries?
I may, yeah, but we're not ready for that yet. We may wrap it,
Mr. President.
because essentially all countries take advantage of the U.S. We don't make any good deals in the U.S. It's amazing in a way that we exist. We don't make good deals. We don't have any good deals. We have a deficit with almost, not all, there are a couple, I won't tell you their names because I don't want them to find out about it because they'll feel stupid. But there are a couple of countries that actually don't make money with us. But I don't want to let you know because they'll immediately change that. But we're gonna do. I tell you what, our country has an amazing economic future. Everybody believe that?
What kind of universal tariff if you did do one?
Well, you'd put a universal tariff on anybody doing business in the United States because they're coming in and they're stealing our wealth, they're stealing our jobs, they're stealing our companies, they're hurting our companies. So you put a tariff on to keep them from doing that.
Mr. President, you surround yourself with a whole bunch of billionaires today. President Biden has in his farewell address warned about an oligarchy. I'm wondering if you can respond to that.
Well, he had a lot of guys, and then they found out that he didn't know what the hell he was talking about, and I think they deserted him. They deserted him, those same guys. Look, I don't make pretense of smart guys, but there are a lot of smart people around, but they did desert him. They were all with him, every one of them. Now they're all with me. I don't know. It's not going to get anything from me. I don't need money. But I do want the nation to do well, and they're smart people, and they have, they create a lot of jobs. And if they don't do it, China's going to do it. You know, what they've done is they've taken industries and they've taken it away. They outsmarted China. And, we sort of like that. It's okay. They've done a great job. A lot of them. Not all of them.
Protecting women from radical gender ideologies.
Ooh.
Mr. President, going back to the World Health Organization, you were the president during COVID. Don't you see the importance of organization like that to coordinate a global response?
Sure, I do, but not when you're being ripped off like we are by the World Health. World Health ripped us off. Everybody rips off the United States, and that's it. It's not going to happen anymore. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, Phil.
One last one, sir. This is your Martin Luther
Thank you,
King
guys.
proclamation.
Thank you, President. Thank you, sir. Thank you, President. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go. Thanks, President. Thank you, guys.
That was President Donald Trump signing a series of executive actions from the Oval Office. He's scheduled.
Muted. Sorry. All right, we're back. What did we just watch? President Trump right there signing a slew of executive orders, including the pardon of 1,500 J6 prisoners. Unbelievable. We saw him withdraw to the World Health Organization. We saw him really put America, the muscular force behind the America First agenda, right there in the Oval Office. You also saw him do basically like an hour and a half press conference with the press, just freewheeling it. It really is remarkable what we're witnessing right now. President Trump is truly ushering in a new American golden age. Right there, you could see it. I had chills down my spine watching that, and I am so happy to see true, real leadership back in the Oval Office, back in the White House. You could even see there's a funny moment where Peter Doocy asked him if Joe Biden had left him a letter behind. It's typically what presidents do. They'll leave a letter in the desk, and Trump had just arrived at the Oval Office. So it was like his first time sitting down in the Oval Office as the 47th president. And he opens up the drawer and he finds that envelope with the letter written, handwritten by Joe Biden. So he hadn't read it yet. He was about to do it live on air, but we'll see. Maybe he'll post it on Truth Social. Who knows? If he does, we will let you know about it. That was amazing. I don't know how this night could get much better. We've watched a series of historical events today, from Trump actually getting sworn in, to then addressing a crowd at Capitol Arena, a packed stadium, to then processing his way to the Oval Office, once again reasserting himself as the 47th president, as a conquering hero, walking into the White House and signing watershed legislations to once again make America great again and unburden us from the past 4 years under Joe Biden. I've got to say, I've had chills all day. I can barely believe what we've lived through the past 12 hours. It is truly a historic day, and this is day one. Trump was only sworn in at 12 o'clock noon, so it hasn't even been a full day, and we've already changed the course of this country. It's because of this audience who put their support behind Trump and behind independent media who could help him get him there. It has been a day filled with emotion and energy as the people finally take back this country from a ruling class that for so long pitted themselves against the people they swore an oath to serve. So today has been an unbelievable day. My heart is happy watching all of this. I have to say, Benny even popped on a couple of times. Benny is truly ushering in the new American golden age by welcoming his newborn son, and first baby of the golden age. He popped on a couple times here to just update us on what's going on, and it's been an amazing day. I sure am pretty excited about everything that's going down and what will go down this next week. I sure am. In the next 4 years, really, we have 4 years of winning. Our heads will spin. It will be amazing. So again, thank you guys for joining in. I do my best here to sub in for Benny as he takes care of his family and his newborn son. Everyone's doing great. So again, my name is Danny Derabina. You can follow me on X at Danny Derabina. It has been a pleasure. We will see you guys and update you regularly as Trump is sure to shake up DC and the world as the 47th president. Thank you guys so much. It has been truly a historic day. We'll see you later. Thank you.
Don't you start no fight.
truth gon' be? Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade. Cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade. Cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.